our university is a university of inclusivity and what? And the borderless. We will handle everybody. Those ones who are sane and those ones who are insane. Tumeelewana? Wale wako sawa na wale hawako sawa. Now we need to treat them equally. I will also endeavor to serve you as a staff without fear or favor. Hata ikiwa unanijua itakuwa ni sawa, lakini ukikuja kama umekosa, kosa ni kosa. Si ndio? Kosa itakuwa kosa, haiwezi kuwa ile ya rafiki. No, we don't want to scare anybody. My office is not scaring anybody. Because I said we are what? We are workers of the Kisii University. Kila mtu afanye kazi yake. Ile uliachiriwa hapa ufanye kazi yako. Just if you are a lecturer, make sure the students are taught, examined, and the result is released in good time. If you are the student finance, make sure the students are getting the good finance balances. The students are helped when there is an issue without harassment. Don't you think our university will be a great place to be? Watu wa Kisii University, niwaambie kitu. Niwaambie. Wacha niwaambie. Mko na bahati ya kwamba you have got a great university. Ninajua wanaminika. You always complain about your university, how your university is insensitive, how your university is not feeding you, how you have worked so hard until the backs are about to break because of this university. You jealously protect your university. You jealously do what? Protect your university if you want to survive. I would like to tell the commission that commission representatives is that we thank God that Mungu aliamua kulala university yetu. Mungu alitembelea university yetu na amekaa huko miaka 3. Kwa nini alitembelea university yetu? Wanafunzi ni tere, si ndio? Wanafunzi ni nini? Ni tere. It doesn't happen elsewhere. It only happens in Kisii University. Na nawaambia you jealously protect your institution. Kwa sababu gani? Pengine kwa sababu ya hiyo wanafunzi, serikali ikifanya ile funding model inakuja, basi promotions zitakuwa. Kwa sababu wanafunzi mko na our His Excellency says pesa itafuata nini? Itafuata wanafunzi, si ndio? So let us be happy and we thank God that God infested us. Yes. Even this theater hii haiwezi kuwa nayo kama Mungu hakuwatembelea. Si mnasikia kuna mtu anasikia pain mahali umekaa? Unless you watch and see, you think you are sitting comfortably. Ni Mungu tu ametutembelea. Na mkiendelea kukua na facility kama hizi mkikaa kwa ofisi, then why should we have complaints? Hata kwetu nyumbani, si ikiwa hata uko na nguo moja wageni wakikuja unasafisha. Unafaa. You don't care whether it is imeraruka ama nini. Imesafishwa, iko clean. So I will wish you all the best in this training, and I hope that at least when we are talked by the commission people, things will be wamekuja kutufunga, wamekuja kutuambia what is the importance of administration of justice. So I wish you all the best in the training. And our visitors who are here up to tomorrow, I wish you the best in Kisii University. Hey, you sample, you go to our markets also, see what is in our markets, and our town. So feel very welcome. Thank you.
Words of wisdom from our DVC, AP&F. Thank you so much, sir, for taking your time to even share with us and to open this particular workshop. We can give him one clap even as he goes. Moja tu mzito. Ladies and gentlemen, just before we break for tea, it's now my pleasure to present to us an overview of this particular workshop. I need help kidogo tu just to am I set? It's gone off. This particular training has been enabled, of course, by the Kisii University management, and we are, or it's doing that through the Public Complex Committee. So a little bit of information about this particular committee. It was established in compliance with the performance contract guidelines, and basically to enhance complaint handling mechanisms and customer satisfaction. We've just been told our clients, especially our students, are our employers, but we also have other many clients that we interact with that are our customers. So we have a mandate to ensure complaints are lodged, the complaints lodged are received, they are assessed, they are resolved as per the complaints handling procedure, which is important that all of us get to know the procedure. We prepare and submit quarterly reports on the status of complaints to CAG. We do a lot of creating of awareness on customer complaints management, and I hope you know about it. We provide feedback to the top management on the status of complaints management. We also organize for sessions like this just to build our capacity towards service delivery. I would maybe bring to our attention that this is a 7-membered committee. Staff sensitization and even our own sensitization, just to be able to understand how the world is taking over and what kind of complaints we are receiving each and every day. Quarterly reports, customer annual satisfaction, and of course we are doing so well as a university, and we pray that this particular capacity building workshop improves our performance. Last year we had 93, which is a drop. There's some time, 2022, 2023, we had 100%. And I will be telling you why we drop in terms of performance. Everybody contributes to it. Each and every person in this university contributes to this particular performance. We have a lot of complaints. There are those that we call them direct, like people or clients or students or maybe workers within institution just come and talk to us about or lodge their complaints. And we also have the external. So all of them are very important to us. And the external, we basically receive them from the CAJ, sometimes ministry court summons, and depending also on sometimes other official bodies that are used, we receive all of them. And complaints are very, very important. They are feedback. And like you will begin to understand from today and tomorrow that they are not necessarily negative or bad per se. They could be very, very important feedback to us. What are the channels? Like the operating channel, our email, and this is the complaints at kisiuniversity.ac.ke. Sometimes there are people who call, the PR office, they call me, they call any member of the committee, or when even they call the management, we still are able to load the, or to assess those particular complaints. We have suggestion boxes, a few ones placed strategically in particular buildings, survey or feedback from the online platforms. There are clients who walk in, whether they are clients within the university or external, and of course social media. And somebody will be asking, even social media, and yes. We take those complaints to be very, 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 very important, whether they are on TikTok, on Facebook, on whatever social media platform. As long as they are complaints, Anonymous, yes. And the CAJ will be explaining to us that it doesn't really matter whether, even if it's anonymous, if it's a complaint, then we are up to task to receive it and follow up. What are some of the recurring complaints in Kisii University? We have what we call incomplete transcripts. And there's nothing called missing marks. It's just a term we use, but there's nothing called missing mark, because where is it missing? It's either there or not there. So we talk about incomplete transcripts. And we work here. We know that, yes, this is something that we have worked on and reduced the percentage, but yes, still, we have a lot of incomplete transcripts, and sometimes this has led to delayed graduation. I'm sure you are here, you've seen people complain, and even directly to you, and sometimes even on social media, sometimes a whole class, and this is because they have incomplete transcripts. We may be knowing the courses or not, but if they are low, then we take them up. We take them up. Delay in payment of part-time lecturers. Also, they have really reduced in numbers, but yes, we are still dealing with problems from this, and especially when we are not able to verify whether somebody taught or not. Some of these complaints are from the times we used to have campuses, and maybe many times we did not have a lot of system to verify exactly who submitted what to who and where they are. We are working on them. We are trying to really, as much as possible, ensure that the complaints get to have their feedback, and of course, if they deserve, we then act in that particular order. There's delay in verification of students' transcripts and certificates. Those are complaints that we get time and again. We have worked on them, but you still see them. Delay in change correction of names on transcripts and certificates, and we have also complaints on negative staff attitude, and this is where we have to really think about what the DVC is talking about, and also interrogate ourselves and ask ourselves at what point does that come to play. And of course, challenges in accessing services on the portal. So then now we have to think about, and many other complaints. I'm just talking about the recurring one. Time and again, you will receive these complaints. What would be some of our challenges, especially as the committee? By the time we are now missing out on the marks on it's because there are delays in getting responses from concerned responsible departments. And the reason why, actually, one of my prayer for today and tomorrow is that we can all work together, because sometimes a complaint comes, and then we are supposed to liaise with the department that is concerned. And so when you delay on responding back to the committee, we also delay on responding back to the committee, and CAJ will tell you they value deadlines, they value time frames, they value quick responses to their complainants. We have very uncooperative complainants sometimes, and very aggressive. You can imagine by the time somebody goes to the CAJ, maybe they have come to us 2 times, 3 times, or even in their head 10 times. And so by the time they are going to the CAG, they are really even mad about everything, our university and every other thing. And so they become very uncooperative, aggressive, violent. We have those challenges that we have to deal with. And sometimes it's very delicate even for the committee. Complainants who do not exhaust available social services. One visit and they go to ombudsman. Like they want a simple thing like changing of names and the certificate. And yet we even have procedures. You can imagine for people who work in those offices, you know, that we even ask them to put their right names before the certificates come out. We have those procedures. We have those mechanisms. And so they will come once, and the next time you know, they are at ombudsman. One of the latest complaints, somebody is already going to ombudsman over school fees. That you see, I changed my course, and you know. So now you ask yourself, have you got help from anybody else around here? No, they just run. So before they exhaust the sources of services, many people would run. A supplier would easily just run there instead of finding out, okay, if I've come here and I'm meeting Officer Y and I'm not getting help, can I meet Officer, X, Z? So there are those things. You saw what students do on social media, and you ask yourself, okay, are you all missing marks? And so you know the many reasons. It's so individual. Incomplete script is a very individual situation. And so sometimes they run to the CAJ even before they exhaust. That becomes a challenge. And you see the moment they go there, now we stop, sort of withdraw, like handling them one-on-one, because now we are responding to somebody that is supposed to respond to their client. So it becomes very, very difficult to help them. Then we have sometimes extent analysis on complaints to prevent recurrence. How do we stop some of these complaints from coming back and back again? And then sometimes we look at complaints as a negative way of assessing us instead of just a positive feedback to improve service delivery. If a department, for example, is experiencing a challenge, there are many complaints from that department. The department could easily think like, these people don't understand us, we are under pressure, we have a lot of work to do, we are doing our best. They would look at it as negative as opposed to feedback, and that becomes a challenge. And then what about now today? I wish I was able to project the service delivery charter. I think I have it here, because then we'll begin to know our role. When we look at the citizen service delivery charter, I don't know how possible that is. I think, okay, I'll project it. Maybe we'll look at it when we come back from tea. We'll be reminding ourselves. Because when you look at our citizen service delivery charter, we have actually outlined our services per department, how long it's supposed to take, and who is supposed to do it. And that is a commitment to the citizen. And being a commitment to the citizen, then we have the role. All of us have a role to be able to give good services, excellent services to our clients. And that is the reason why we are here, so that we can be able to, if we've been doing that, encourage ourselves that this is the right way to go. If we have been missing on one point or another, know how to be able to put our house back together and share with the colleagues who are not able to attend to be able to make it better. Because sometimes we may have to review our citizen service delivery. Maybe the timing is not like good enough for us. But there are services we've even said 5 minutes, if you look at it again. And then 5 minutes, and ask yourself, are we doing this in 5 minutes? Because that's how complaints come about. So what are we here for? We want to just review our commitment on the Kisii University Service Delivery Charter. And so find out, because this is our own commitment, is it doable? 2, we want to encourage excellent customer services. Now we will know that all our customers are very, very important, and we can encourage our services to them. Students, whether they are part-time lecturers, whether they are suppliers, whether they are the public, all those people that we serve. excellent customer services. We want to create awareness on the functions of the Office of Ombudsman so that we are not looking at it like this is here to judge us and to condemn us or maybe to attack us. No. We also want to, as much as possible, educate ourselves on complaints and good practice management of complaints. How do we know this is a complaint? How do we handle a complaint? What is the best practice of handling a complaint? That is why they're here for us. And we want to allow a platform of engagement. I thank God they have some case studies that they share with us. So we want to engage a platform. We are not only here for Kisii University, because then I know I could lodge a complaint to Ombudsman, because besides being in Kisii University, I could be having another, I have a life. Supposing I have an issue and I've been dealing with it, it's not possible for me to get answers. Is it possible? Am I open to get services to Ombudsman? Yes, because I'm a citizen. So we'll allow a platform of engagement, and I just want to thank God for this staff. We have had a long relationship with them, and they are very good. We'll be having that engagement whereby we want to know what is our obligation. What's my obligation? What about your obligation? What about the public obligation? What are the do's and don'ts, the boundaries that we have, and the rights, and the importance of having this particular office, of course, in our jurisdiction, and of course the Constitution of Kenya. I want to begin to say this as I finish, that we have offices of Ombudsman that are just reachable. Recently, I even learned we have an office, I think they'll be introducing themselves in Kisii, which is very good. We have at Huduma Center, we have a desk. So this is not very far from us. And of course, our offices have come from Kisumu. We have the main office in Nairobi and many other places. So as a committee, we remain committed to timely, fairly, and transparent resolution of the complaints. It will mean that you help us in this. We work together. That first of all, we handle our clients well. 2, we look at complaints in a positive manner, like feedback. 3, we can, as much as possible, handle those complaints at our level so that we avoid maybe a client getting desperate and now looking up to another body to come and handle something that we can handle here. Of course, based on the laid out procedures, depending on where you work. We also, as a committee, we want to promise that we have put in continuous efforts to just strengthen complaint handling mechanisms, and this is one of them. Information is power, and we strive to build trust and satisfaction through responsiveness and open communication, which we are doing so well. So even by the virtue that we are getting 90s, surely, yes, we fell short of some glory the other year, but I believe that we are back to bounce back, and we are doing well as a university. Our shared goal is to enhance the customer experience and promote service excellence across all departments. And so we wish to thank the management of Kisii University as early as now, and the CAJ for helping us build our capacity. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a very interactive workshop. It will, you will not even remain the same. If you stay here for 2 days, you will begin to open up your thinking, and it can help somebody out there, not necessarily just for Kisii University, but also for the community where you live in. And I am sure that a powerhouse that you are, you need to be able to pass this information to other quarters. But for the sake of Kisii University, that we talk about inclusivity and borderlessness, I believe that this is a timely moment for us to have this particular workshop and build our capacity in complaints management, access to information, and good service delivery. I think this is good to go, and thank you so much. We will break for tea, and then when we come back, the CAJ will take up, they'll introduce themselves, and then they will begin as per program to be able to do the awareness. So, purpose to be here, to stick in the workshop and learn as much as possible for your sake, and also for the sake of this university and for our clients. Thank you so much. Now that, okay, as you pray for, bless the tea. And we were going to take our tea from, there's a tent out here? Yeah, we will find our way.
So thank you, Aune. for that wonderful presentation. I also want to thank the DVC in his absence for opening up our eyes, participants. I want to believe that we are beginning to get the gist of this workshop. So, for the two facilitators, let us give them 3 good Nyayo claps. Moja, mbili, tatu, funga, fungua. Thank you, thank you. I want to believe our tea is ready. Yeah, so we'll break for tea, and then after that, we will now have the main facilitators of the workshop to join us. Before we do that, I said earlier on that we want this workshop to be as relaxed as possible. That's why we are from different departments, and we want to interact, get to know each other. So let's rise up for to energize ourselves as we go out. DJ, give us the cuckoo dance. DJ, we do some cuckoo dance as we go out. I'm reminded I pray, then we dance as we go out. We'll just dance for about 2 minutes, then we go out. So I want to bless the tea. Let's pray. Father God, we thank you once again. Thank you for waking us up well to start this day. We want to thank you for this workshop. We want to thank you for the university management that has given us this opportunity to learn. And even our guests from the CAJ, and even the participants who are here. We want to pray that as we go through this workshop, we will see your guidance, Lord. We want to break for tea, and Father, we pray that you bless this tea as we take it, for we pray in Jesus' name. Amen. So let's stretch a bit as we go out. You look at the screen. I hope it's on the screen. For us. Let's pray for it. We'll come back for it. Maybe we'll start with that as we welcome our facilitators. Let's pray. Yes. I pray.
to our seats. And even as I bring them over, maybe I could pose a question. Have you ever received any complaint in your office? Have you ever received any complaint from, not necessarily a complaint to do with your office, but has anybody complained to you? Maybe we need to share that. Mwepata complaint yoyote. You know, sometimes people go anywhere. Could share with us any complaint?
Personally, we've received several complaints, but majorly in my office. One, I believe you called it incomplete transcripts. That's one.
Yes.
Two, there are the issues of fees. Those are the major ones.
Incomplete transcript, fees that the client feel is maybe inappropriate. Any other complaint that we normally encounter each and every day? Yes? Could share with us in your workplace?
Well, as I have said earlier, I work in security department. The complaint which we normally receive is about the landlord and the students, tenants, but the landlord.
Landlord vis-a-vis student, sometimes rogue landlord, sometimes rogue students. Any complaint, Dr. you have received?
Yeah, thank you, Doctor. Yeah, the complaint I received was from a parent whose daughter had dropped out of college. So I followed it up and realized that she dropped out in third year. And that, as the English say, she was at large. So finally we realized she was cohabiting with some young men in town here. And that it was very difficult to return her to college.
Okay, parent, student. You'll be very, very lucky person if you never receive complaint. So I was waiting for us to settle. The experts are here. Maybe to assess our complaints management strategies, make them better, and even help us in terms of better service delivery. My pleasure now to invite the CAJ staff to take over from there. Let us put our hands together for Amelia as she comes over. Tumpigie makofi so that she may not lodge a complaint.
Thank you, Dr. Auni. I'm one of those who preferred to call you Dr. Rhoda, but I stand guided. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning. I'm a good after tea. Atupendi salamu. Allow me to ride on the protocols already established. My name is Amelia Otono. I serve, underline, at the Commission on Administrative Justice from the Kisumu Regional Office. I am here with a team. I will allow my team members to at least say jambo so that you can hear their voices as we continue to engage.
Good morning. God is good, and all the time. My name is Lillian Mbilo. I am an advocate of the High Court of Kenya. I serve as a legal officer at the Office of the Ombudsman Kisumu. We cover this region. Kisii is part of us. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is John Wanyonyi. I work with the Commission. Good morning, everyone. My name is Susan Odhiambo. I'm a legal officer intern with the Ombudsman, and I sit at the Huduma Center. Asanteni.
She is an advocate of the High Court of Kenya. Scrap intern, hizo zingine achana nazo. We are very happy to be here this morning, and we thank you for the very warm welcome we have received. We have sat and listened as the earlier speakers engaged us, and we took note of what they were sharing. I have heard that we have interacted with complaints. We have just now also tried to articulate some of the complaints that we have encountered in our day to day. As Dr. Rhoda has mentioned, it is not necessarily for you as an officer of this institution. Our engagement for these 2 days is meant to empower you both as an officer and as an individual. Some of the information that you're going to get out of this session is something that you will also be able to share within your community, okay? It's not necessarily or strictly speaking work related 100%. Some of it you get to carry into your communities and build up on those ones. When the DVC was speaking, I had him emphasize on matters justice, and he posed questions. What is justice? What would ultimately be justice for you may not necessarily be justice for me. I could be victimized in that justice, isn't it? There have been incidents, for example, is it in this region or is it in Kisii or Homa Bay, where old people have been burnt in their homes? It's in Kisii. On allegations of, let's agree that we are going to engage. Sindio, unajua kufundisha ni ngumu? Si kufundisha ni ngumu? We are going to engage, correct? It is beneficial for you, and it is beneficial for me and motivating for me when we can engage. There have been those incidents, isn't it? When it is undertaken in the manner in which it has been undertaken, there's a party walking away feeling that I have gotten justice. Sindio? Yes? But then the aggrieved parties do not feel like that was justice. He spoke of dialogue. He said, we have complaints, we receive complaints, yes, within us as an institution. But the minute we do not take care or take action on the complaints that we receive, then it is escalated. So he has called for internal dialogue as a way of diffusing the situation, as a way of preliminarily resolving the issues that may arise. He mentioned something on anonymity. I wish to clarify that as a commission, we receive complaints both when you want to be identified as a complainant, but when you do not want to be known as the complainant, we receive that complaint and attend to it as an anonymous complaint. As the officer working on your file, Amelia, I will know that this is Mora, okay? But I will not tell Kisii University, for example, that it is Mora that is complaining against you, because there are many issues that could be surrounding that. You may be apprehensive for one reason or the other. Long and short, we have listened, we have heard, we have understood what is going on. We know there are systems in place. So we will build from that point, from where the DVC left and where Dr. Auni left. We will pick from that point, build on it, and ultimately hope that we shall have shared information that would be fruitful to you and beneficial also to you. With that, allow me to invite my colleague Lillian to start us off on our first session for the day. We may have to indulge each other in terms of the timings, considering when we are starting, but it is adult learning. Ukisikia umechoka sana pia unasimama tu unajinyorosha, unarudi tunaendelea. Not sijasema uende, nimesema amka jinyoroshe, rudi tuendelee. Sawa? Asante. Lillian.
Thank you, my senior Amelia. I am a cousin to the Gen Zs, so I love my presentations with illustrations. So I'm beginning my presentation with a video that will be played shortly. So maybe Byron can take us to that video.
Excuse. Ule madam ameniambia wewe ndio unadili na birth certificate.
Nataka kukusaidia.
Wewe pita huko.
Excuse. Ule madam ameniambia wewe ndio unadili na birth certificate.
Nataka kukusaidia. Nenda kwa desk B.
Wewe pita huko.
Ule madam ameniambia wewe ndio unadili na birth certificate.
Enda nani? Stacy. Hiyo nani ni wapi?
Chini. Ashuke huko chini. Ya kwani wazazi wako walikuwa wapi watu wakichukuliwa birth certificate wakiwa wadogo? Sasa ushakoma ndevu zimetoka. Hata una adabu.
Hata niko under 18.
Shuka.
Nimeambiwa wewe ndio unadili na birth certificate.
Mimi na deal na driving license. Birth certificate desk C.
Okay. Ameniambia wewe ndio utanisaidia hiyo birth certificate.
Thanks hapo. Kuja Friday.
Kuisha wewe.
Friday ni holiday. Kuja Monday. Acha kezekana kuja Tuesday.
Tuesday kwani nimesahau nini maandamano ya Gen Z.
Haya, kuja Wednesday.
Kuja Wednesday.
Mata akose kuja.
Wednesday.
Sawa.
Unataka nini by then? Wewe ni mzee sana.
Acha tu.
God have mercy upon us.
Amevunja nje mlango. Motiso, funga.
Is supposed to serve the public, but has he received service? What has he received? Are those administrative issues? That is where we are here today. So that Kisii University, when students walk in, the DVC said, who are our employers? The students. We don't have such scenarios because these are the matters that come to the office of the Ombudsman. Now, if I may ask you if you have looked at that video keenly, if we didn't have a government office where Mnyonge, who is a citizen, that youth, that old man, that old woman who has been mistreated in a government office can walk in and complain, where could we be as a Kenya in terms of administrative justice? That is why the Constitution and the framers of the Constitution saw it important to have such an office where the mnyonge in the society, where the young people, the old people, the middle age can walk into that office and complain against service that falls short of the required expectation in public service. And that is why we are the Office of the Ombudsman. So for this presentation, I am going to tell you who is the Ombudsman. We Commission on Administrative Justice or Ombudsman. Who is Ombudsman? Why do we encourage people to complain at the Office of the Ombudsman? So at the end of this presentation, you will be able to appreciate the history and the establishment of the Office of the Ombudsman in Kenya, the functions and the powers of the Commission, the performance of the Commission, the complaint redress mechanism. Yeah. So an ombudsman has an obligation when it spots trouble, when it spots patterns, to speak the truth to power. Have we spotted trouble in that video? Are there administrative issues? So when we write letters, for example, if that was Kisii University, and that students come to complain to our office, when we speak truth to the accounting officer, who is the vice chancellor, are we performing our mandate? Because the people who are supposed to serve that student did not do their job, isn't it? So we speak the truth to power. That is, you can see the ombudsman there telling the president, oh, stop. President, check this out. This is the list of good governance. We are telling the president about Article 10 of the Constitution, about the values of good governance. And the president is saying, oh, stop. Tell me something else. I'm very allergic to this. Get my medicine. When you look even at our governance as a country, have you seen people who don't want people who speak the truth to power? People become uncomfortable when you speak the truth to power. So that is why we have the office of the ombudsman. You are looking for an information. Information is cluttered everywhere. What is the magic word? The magic word is the ombudsman. The ombudsman will help you to get that information. If, for example, as a citizen, you are told, get into that room to get yourself information, where will you begin? You can see from the diagram how cluttered that information is. So the magic word is the ombudsman. This is also shows that we unlock information. We release information to the members of the public. So we can't speak about the office of the ombudsman without appreciating our history. This word, ombudsman, was borrowed from a Swedish word, which means representative, people's representative. Ombud means commission, and man means man. We are human beings, right? So ombud means commission, and math means man. Sweden was the first country to adopt an office of the ombudsman that could receive complaints against government offices and government officials. Then other countries followed suit. We have Finland, we have Denmark, we have Kenya, we have South Africa, and New Zealand. Now, before we had the constitution, where were people going? So we have all the generations represented here. We have people from 2010, we have people from 1960s, and so forth. Now, where were people complaining? In 1971, there was a commission that was formed to look into the structure and remuneration of public service. That commission was called the Ndegwa Commission, or the Structure and Remuneration Commission. So that commission, when it was going around getting feedback from public service servants and public offices, there was a need to have a body that will be handling complaints against public offices. So one of the recommendations of this Ndegwa Commission was to have a body where members of the public would freely lodge complaint against public officers. So they recommended. So in that recommendation in 2007, that is 1971. So in 2007, the then president, through a gazette notice, formed a committee, the Public Complaint Standing Committee. So that was the predecessor of the Commission on Administrative Justice. The committee was housed at the Ministry of Justice. That is in 2007. 3 years down the line, something big happened in this country. Who can tell me what happened in 2010? The Constitution of Kenya 2010. So there was a Constitution of Kenya 2010 which created institution. And in the Constitution of Kenya 2010, when you look at Article 59, there was formation of Kenya National Human Rights and Equality commission, as it is, Kenya National Human and Equality Commission. That commission had a very broad scope or broad mandate. There was proposal under Article 59.4 that if this commission will be split, then functions of the commission as envisaged under Article 59 would remain or would be allocated to this institution. So Article 59.4, Parliament enacted legislation which split the Kenya National Human Rights and Equality Commission into 3 commissions. The first commission was Commission on Administrative Justice, that is us, the Office of the Ombudsman. The second commission was Kenya National Commission on Human Rights, and the third commission was the Gender and Equality Commission. Now, that is our history as Office of the Ombudsman. Now, what do we do? What is our mandate? Our mandate is twofold. We have the traditional mandate, that is promotion of administrative justice in Kenya, and we have a secondary mandate where we oversight and enforce the Access to Information Act. Who have heard of Access to Information Act 2016? Have you seen requests seeking access to information? Has any one of you requested information from a public institution? You have not. Have you heard about it, the Access to Information Act? You have heard about it. Niko na haki ya kupata information. Now, when you go to the enforcement, because you've said that you have heard about it, enforcement of the right to access to information, the Commission acts as an oversight and enforcement of the Access to Information Act 2016. In this mandate, we cover both public institution and private institution. That you can write to Kisii University seeking information and give the statutory timeline according to the Act. And Kisii University, the information access officer ought to give that information with it that timeline. Tomorrow we'll be having a slide on access to information, so you'll get more details about it. I will just brush through it. So this mandate covers public entities. One is Kisii University. Is Kisii University a public entity? And then it also covers private bodies. You'll ask me why. It only covers private bodies that perform public functions. For example, the SGR. Is it a private company? Is SGR, the company that manages SGR, is it a government company? No, it is through public-private partnership. So the SGR, you can seek information from the company that manages SGR. Why? It performs public function. Which public function? Transport. If you want to get information from Safaricom, is Safaricom a public entity? But why are you allowed to get information from Safaricom? Because it performs a public function. If, for example, today, you want to get information from a hospital, it's a matter of life and death. You need this information. Why will you be allowed to get information from an hospital? Because it is a private hospital, Aga Khan, for example. It performs private function, public function, that is health. So upon the commission can action on maybe an application for review, because we don't request information on behalf of complainants or clients. We tell them to request, give the statutory timeline, and if the information is not provided, apply to the commission for a review. That is when we come in. Our role for oversight and enforcement. So we can receive an application for review either from a complainant or suo motu. Suo motu is on our own volition as the Commission on Administrative Justice, that we can decide we write to seek information on behalf of Kenyans. We have quasi-judicial powers where the decisions or orders under access to information are binding and are enforceable as a high court order. And they can also be appealed in the High Court. So decisions of the commission can be appealed in the High Court within 21 days. So that is under access to information. So if I ask in access to information, for example, you can seek information from two entities under Access to Information Act. Which are those two entities from my presentation? From public and which private entities that perform public functions? For example, thank you. Now, my colleague will take you more through access to information tomorrow. It will be quite interesting. It will be the first session. So I'm hoping all of you will be in attendance to be able to benefit from her wisdom. Promotion of administrative justice in Kenya. This is our traditional mandate. From the video that we played, there were administrative issues that we were able to pick out, isn't it? What are some of the administrative issues that you picked from that video? And Dr. Rhoda, in her presentation, let me just give you Kamwa Kenya. She said some problems they've been experiencing, some of the complaints they experienced from the university. So from the video that we played, what are some of the issues that you have picked, administrative issues that you have picked from that video and from Dr. Rhoda's presentation in the morning? Pardon? Attitude. Attitude, yes, bad attitude. It is not a good one. Another one? Poor communication skills? Yes, poor communication skills. Avoidance of responsibility, yes. Demoralized staff, for sure. Another one? Yes. Failure to listen to? Sure. Any other? Are they so efficient? Were they so efficient? Inefficiency? Is it an administrative issue you picked? He was told to come on Wednesday. Wednesday ni siku ya maandamano ya Gen Z. Was there a delay? An element of delay? Is it an administrative issue? What does the service charter in Kisii University say once you receive a complaint? Where is the IT department? I want to reset my password. I cannot access my portal. I've come to you to lodge a complaint for you to assist me to reset my password. How long should it take? A minute. Thank you. If that student wanted to, if that was a student and wanted to reset a password, was that a minute? Was that a complaint that can find itself on Dr. Rhoda's desk or at the office of the ombudsman? Is the office of the ombudsman a good thing? Thank you. So, promotion of administrative justice. So, administrative justice, it is the standard required of public entities to adhere to due process principles when making administrative decisions or taking administrative action. The mandate covers public entities and officers at both the national and the county government. Unlike access to information, where I said our mandate covers both the public entities and private entities that perform public functions, our administrative traditional mandate only covers government entities. Give me an example of a private college in Kisii. A private. Pardon? Mount Kenya. KIM. Kenya Institute of Management. Yes. For example, if a student comes to the office of the ombudsman, has a complaint against Kenya Institute of Management, is that complaint within our mandate, under our traditional mandate and administrative justice? No. Listen. Promotion of administrative justice. It only covers public entities and public officers. Is KIM a public entity? Is Kisii University a public entity? You see the difference? But now, when these students come to my office, will I throw her away, tell her, no, I can't help you, you go? No. I will look for the regulator. Who regulates colleges? Which body regulates colleges? Q. Council for University Education. I'll refer her to Council for University Education. So that if the Council for University Education does not assist the student, then I will deal with the public entity, which is the Council for University Education. because our mandate only covers, under the administrative justice, only covers public entities. But if I receive a complaint from Kisii University, from a lecturer of Kisii University, about dues of part-time teaching, will I admit that complaint? Yes, because Kisii University is a public entity. So this is that mandate is done through complaint management. That is, we redress maladministration, capacity building of public entities. What are we doing here today? We are building the capacity of the staff of Kisii University. Public education and awareness. We issue advisory opinion. We also do public interest litigation and promotion of constitutionalism. Let's go to redress of maladministration. Maladministration means bad or improper administration or failure by a public agency to effectively perform its function. It includes issues of delay, issues of inaction, issues of inefficiency, issues of ineptitude, discourtesy, incompetence, and unresponsiveness. Redress of maladministration is primarily through complaints management, where we initiate inquiries. Dr. Roda will appreciate, we have sent so many letters following up on administrative issues that have been reported to our office. So that is one of our ways where we redress maladministrations through inquiries. Number 2, investigations. There is a recent investigation that the commission has done in Eldoret. There was this first choice agency. It was a recruitment. It was a recruitment agency that scammed Kenyans, parents, vulnerable Kenyans, millions of shillings. Because you remember there's this, people think, or so to say, it is in public domain, where when you go for greener pastures, Maju, outside the country, you know, so there's this first choice agency scam in Eldoret that scammed Kenyans. I was told that the report says, from the investigation report, that even some parents were paying up to 46,000 shillings for job offers. That is a lot of money from Nyonge down there. They will sell cows, they will sell goats for them to be able to come to your office, for you to assist their son and daughter to process their documents to go abroad for greener pastures. So our investigation report unearthed that there is the National Employment Authority officials colluded with senior police officers from Uasin Gishu counties, number 1, to create fear that some of these affected parents do not complain to any authority. Number 2, there was an element of inefficiency in terms of the way complaints from members of the public were handled by officials from the National Employment Authority and senior officers from police, senior officers from Uasin Gishu County. So this report has really indicted those two categories of people. So in a way of redressing a complaint that was lodged by the affected people and by human rights defenders in Uasin Gishu counties, the commission initiated an investigation that produced a report that indicted those officials. Now, type of complaints. Delay in delivery of public service. Kuja Wednesday, kutakuwa na maandamano ya Gen Z. Kuja Thursday, ama usikuje. Is that delay in delivery of public service? What does the service charter say on, for example, if today I write, I'm a lecturer, a part-time lecturer. I'm seeking my dues from Kisii University. I've written a letter to the VC or to the chairperson complaints committee. What does the service charter say? How long should my letter be acknowledged, and how long should be my complaint processed? What's the timeline in the service charter? Who knows? Maybe You know the service charter is your document. You're supposed to be educating me. So educate me. What does the service charter say? Have you interacted with it? Who has seen the service charter? Kisii. Who, just a show of hands. I will not tell you to answer my question. Who has seen the service charter? Commendable. Please go through that document because it informs how you interact with the people you serve. Make sure that that document is in your fingertips. Because if something goes south, you will fall back to the service charter. So, Daktari, what does the service charter say? Seven days, working days. So within 7 working days, that part-time lecturer is supposed to receive feedback from the university. If it doesn't happen, does that lecturer have a right to bring a complaint to the office of the ombudsman? Yes. So is it a good thing? Because we are an oversight. Daktari, the service charter says 7 days, but with up to 5 days. But within, let's say even 7, they have not responded. You are followed for 3 months, no response. Your kids have been thrown away from schools because you cannot pay school fees. You are a part-time lecturer. Where do you go? To the office of the ombudsman. Because for every institution we have or any setup we have, we must have checks and balances. And checks and balances are done by an higher authority. Okay, inefficiency. Inefficiency is also an administrative issue. Improper conduct. The video that I played, did those officers conduct themselves properly? No, that was improper conduct. Did you see an element of abuse of power? Because you see, I'm the one seated in this chair, not you. Was there an abuse of power? So for office of the ombudsman will deal with abuse of power. And I want you to differentiate between abuse of office and abuse of power. Abuse of office, it needs an investigation and indictment. And that is the mandate of the EACC. That it is a process that takes someone through a court of law for you to be found to have abused your office and unfit to hold any public office. But the commission deals with the administrative issue of abuse of power, where you as the academic registrar, you're not using your power properly. You're using your power to create administrative issues and frustrate students. We look at the excesses of in performance of your duty. That is abuse of power. So unlawful conduct, the video I played, was the conduct lawful? It was not lawful. Did the client get fair treatment? There was no fair treatment. Was there manifest injustice? Was there injustice? Yes. So I'm walking to the office of the Dean, Health and Sciences. And this is the receptionist, or we call them office admin or admin assistant. Busy on TikTok. Doesn't even take notice that I've come, I'm there. The DVC said the students are your employers. Imagine an employer walking and your house help is on TikTok. For lack of a better example, imagine going to your house, you want to seek a service from your house help, and she's on TikTok. She's ignoring you. How will you feel? Is it a good thing? You pay in time, you are respectful, you observe, everything. You're a good employer, but the house help is on TikTok. Is it a good thing? Now, these are Kenyans. You can see we even have old people, we have persons with disability, we have young people, but they are coming, and someone is knitting, another one is sleeping, another one is on Facebook, and if it could be the current generation, someone could be dancing on TikTok. And I'm there for government service. Is this agreeable? Is this not an administrative issue? Now, maladministration is actions of government body that can be seen as injustice. For example, if we look at what I've just showed you, this is a maladministration. Now, you are the head of ICT. You've been given a government vehicle. You have a contract of 3 years. In that contract, it's a very beautiful package that comes with a government vehicle. But you're saying, you know, now I have a Land Cruiser and I have a farm of mangoes. I want to carry these mangoes to Keroka market. Is that an administrative issue? It is. Because what are you doing? You're abusing what? Power. You're abusing power because that vehicle has come because of your office. It is not a personal car. Is that proper conduct? Misbehavior in public office? Yes. So those are some of the things that we deal with. Now, if in your house, how many here, in Kisumu we have Kisumu Kiwasko. Kisii we have Kisumu Water. In Kisii we have Gusii Water, Guasco. Now, imagine you have not had water for the last 3 months in your house. You have been complaining. You have been surviving actually by donkeys carrying water to your house, and you are paying 100 bob per mtungi. And now you are slapped with a bill at the end of the month of 13,000. Really? Are you seeing an administrative issue there? Number one, this is a government office. Guasco is a government office. You have not had water. They are supposed to provide you with service. That is water. Ensure that you have continuous flow of water in your house. Now, you have not had water for 3 months. You have complained, they have not redressed it. But now they have remembered you exist at the end of the month. And they slap you with a bill of 13,000. Will you pay that bill? Someone tell, will you pay that bill? You do what? They disconnect. You see now how you're feeling. Now that is how people feel when you don't give them proper service. Yes, because you can imagine you have not had water for 3 months and you're given a bill. You understand? So that is an administrative issue. And that is some of the complaints that the Office of the Ombudsman handle. So we not only receive complaints against Kisii University and the members of staff, we receive complaints against government offices, including Guasco. Another one is, this is a student. There's a scholarship I have received to go to Australia. And the results were supposed to be out in a month's time. But now I've come to school, and when I look at the notice board, to all students, examination results will be out after 2 months. You can see the student is saying, not again. I can't believe I'm going to miss my scholarship because of delayed results. Issues of delayed results, administrative issues. Daktari told us we don't have missing marks. We have incomplete transcripts. It's an issue of incomplete transcripts, an administrative issue. Why is it incomplete if you did your work? You see, those administrative issues, those are some of the things that the Office of the Ombudsman handle. Now, before we go there, who can complain to the Office of the Ombudsman? Any Kenyan? Any Kenyan. You can complain either by yourself or anonymously, where I don't want the VC to know I'm the one lodging this complaint. I want it to be on the basis of anonymity. We'll give you full anonymity. Can Kisii University complain to the Office of the Ombudsman? Yes. Why? Resourceful Rose. Yes.
Our university is a public agency.
Correct. Who else? It's a public entity. Who else? Can Kisii University complain to the Office of the Ombudsman? In law, we have 2 types of people. We have the natural person, who is me and you, and we have the legal person, who is an institution. Can Kisii University sue and be sued as a person? That is it. Kisii University can sue and can be sued. Not the VC, the university. So you have an advocate who represents Kisii University. But the VC can also be sued in his personal capacity. So we receive also complaints from institutions. So Kisii University can also bring complaint to the Office of the Ombudsman, Daktari. So we don't just say it is the staff, the students, and the community, even institutions. So our offices, our headquarters is in Nairobi. We have a regional office in Kisumu. Kisumu covers the western region, including Nyamira, Kisii, the western part of Kenya, Nyanza from Migori, Homa Bay, Kisumu, and Siaya counties. We have representation at Kisii Huduma Center. We have seen the advocate who is in charge of the office. We have an office in Mombasa, Eldoret, Isiolo, Nyahururu, Makueni, and Meru. We receive complaints through toll-free numbers. When you look at that material, the materials we have given you, you'll see how to reach the commission. You can send post mail. You can complain at our Complaint Management and Information System, the CMIS. It has a public section where you can file your complaint. You can also walk in any office and complain. We also have a website where you can lodge your complaint. Now, before I go to that, maybe we have the management of the commission. We have a chairperson, Mr. Charles Dulo, who is assisted by 2 commissioners, and Commissioner Gemator and Commissioner Kanyi. We have the CEO, who is in charge of the secretariat. That is the management of the commission. So the complaint handled, we handled quite a variety of complaints on all administrative issues generally. These are some of the examples of the complaints that we have handled. Delay in issuance of registration documents, delay in payment of retirement dues. Will you imagine you have served Kisii University for the last 20 years, you retire, and upon following up on your pensions from the National Treasury, you have umezungushwa for 3 years. Where do you go? Where do you go to report such an office? You want your pensions, you have served this country diligently and honorably, but it has become a circus. You cannot even rest and enjoy your retirement. That is why we have the Office of the Ombudsman. We take up matters of delay in payment of retirement dues. We take up delay in the hearing and determination of cases in courts and tribunals. We have handled so many cases where people have filed matters in court and a file has gone missing. And the Office of the Ombudsman has worked to ensure that that file has been found and the matter progresses as per the law. In action by the police, we work hand in hand with IPOA and Internal Affairs Unit on inaction by police and also the land registrar. For example, if you filed a boundary dispute, you have Mora and, give me a name. And Mora and, I want another name. And Derek, they are neighbors. They have a boundary dispute. This neighbor is actually, the cows have been eating my grass outside my door. I am Mora, and I'm very mad. Where do I go? To the Office of the Land Registrar. I file a boundary dispute so that the land registrar can summon all of us, including the chief, including the police officers, and say, this is Mora's boundary. You are trespassing. And now recommend appropriate redress for me. I am aggrieved and I'm very mad. But now, I have gone to the Office of the Land Registrar, Kisii, and filed a boundary dispute. But the land registrar, it has taken 2 years. He's not coming. But Mora's cows, chicken, she's even now, coming on my door, because she's infringing on my rights and I'm not getting help. Where do you report this land registrar? And in fact, when you're reporting, you're not reporting the person, you are reporting the office. You get the difference? The claim is against the office of the land registrar, whoever it is. Where do you go? You file that complaint at the office of the ombudsman because it's a government office. It has not done its work. Discourtesy and inefficiency, abuse of power, that one we spoke about it. Investigations, I gave a recent investigation that the commission has done, that one for First Choice Agency in Eldoret. So we have done a series of investigations and produced reports that have come with recommendation and also advisory opinions that have been deduced from those reports. Some of those reports are specific investigations including land grabbing, impropriety in public office. Like there's an investigation that the commission did in the office of the land registrar, Kilifi. Unfair dismissal. You know, you can be a lecturer today and tomorrow you are dismissed. So we do investigations on unfair dismissals and so forth and so forth. Alternative dispute resolution. Now, when you come to the commission, sometimes our first action, looking at the facts before us, we might say, we refer this matter to alternative dispute resolution. And this stems from the Constitution. When you look at Article 159, 2C, the courts in exercise of judicial authority are encouraged to make use of alternative dispute resolution mechanisms, which include 1, mediation, 2, arbitration, negotiation, and also on 3C says, traditional dispute resolution mechanism, provided they are not repugnant to law and, so you can even take someone to a witch doctor. Is it traditional dispute resolution? But provided asikufe, because it will be repugnant to law and order. Are you understanding? So, yeah, so we encourage alternative dispute resolution where the commission does mediation and negotiation. We do court-mandated mediation involving state organs. For example, a lecturer has an issue with Kisii University. We will do mediation if need be. Mediation involving complainant and public institution. Capacity building on complaint management. Like what we are doing today. We are building capacity on complaint management. We train institutions and set up complaint handling infrastructure. We also do outreach, that is public education and awareness. We do media advocacy. We have IEC materials, like the ones that have been given. We do legal aid clinics, where we reach mwananchi at the grassroots and process complaints. The commission issues advisory opinions and proposals. Yeah, the commission issues also advisory opinions and proposals. For example, you remember there was the county governments. They were spending a lot of taxpayers' money on trips abroad. So the commission issued advisory opinion on spending by counties on foreign trips. We have also issued advisory opinion on boundary disputes between county government. Like there's a dispute somewhere between Kisii and Nyamira. Yeah, so those are some of the things that we do. Advisory on succession planning in public service. And also we issued advisory opinion on management of COVID-19, among many latest advisory opinions that we have issued to government and also to public entities. The commission does public interest litigation. This is public interest litigation. Like today when you come to the commission and you tell me, there's this matter, I want you to take it up. You have a land dispute in court or a succession dispute. I will not take that matter up on your behalf to court, because I'll have to look at this matter and determine whether there is public interest in the matter. You understand the difference? So we really take matters of public interest, litigation, matters that have constitutional value that affects a wide number of citizens. So those are the matters that commission does. There's a matter relating to the Supreme Court Act and rules. We were enjoined as interested parties. Let me teach you some law. In a suit, we have parties in a suit. We have the applicant, who might be ISO. We have the respondent, who might be Kisii University. Isaac is suing Kisii University. So Isaac is the applicant. The respondent is Kisii University. And now because the issue has administrative issues, we have the VC. There's VC, Vice Chair, who said, introduce Vice Chair waku, there. Kuasu. Anasema, I deal with matters, rights of employees. So I want to be enjoined as an interested party in the suit. So now we have an applicant, we have a respondent, and we have an interested party. Office of the Ombudsman will tell the court, this commission under Article 59(4), our mandate is on administrative issues, and we can guide the court in reaching a decision on the administrative issues before it, and will be allowed to join the suit as friends to the court, or amicus curiae. Now the amicus curiae is friend to the court, is someone who has an expert opinion on a subject matter before court and can guide the court in coming into a decision matters before it. So now that is the work we do in public interest litigation. So we can join as public, as interested party, or as amicus curiae. Promotion of constitutionalism. The commission is a member of national, the NCAJ, the one that deals with National Administration of Justice. It brings, that body, the NCAJ, brings all bodies that deal with the administration of justice, including judiciary, the National Police Service, the Office of Director of Public Prosecution, Kenya National Commission on Human Rights, and all constitutional commission. So we sit in that NCAJ body for us to be able to progress administrative issues in public service. Our chair also sits at the chair's forum, which is a forum of constitutional commissions. We also do election monitoring and observance to promote the rule of law. We also do police recruitment observance, so that we can check on the administrative issues regarding the process. So, powers of the commission. The commission has quasi-judicial powers. Quasi-judicial is like, it has powers of a court of law. Why? Why do we have powers of a court of law? One, and write this down. The commission can summon. The commission can issue summons. The commission can issue summons. Two, the commission can interrogate. The commission can interrogate a person, like a court. When you go to court, the court will interrogate you. The commission can interrogate a person. The commission can seek production of documents that are important to the matters before it. So the commission can seek production of documents. If, for example, we need documents from Kisii University, we will compel Kisii University to produce those documents for us to be able to administer the matter before us. Three, the commission can summon a witness to give evidence under oath, and we administer that oath. So the commission can summon a witness to appear under oath. For example, if it's the chairperson for the complaints committee, you can appear to the commission under oath, and we will administer that oath. What happens when you lie to a government agency? What happens when you lie under oath to a government agency? Have you heard of perjury? Lying to a government institution under oath? The commission can get into a premise through a court order. One, to get information on a matter that is before it. And number two, to preserve and protect that premise. The commission can get into a premise with a court order. One, to preserve that premise, and number two, to obtain records of a matter that is before that commission. So, Yeah, I think I've mentioned them. Issue summons, require statements be given under oath, compel production of documents. We can conduct searches and seizures of documents with court orders. We can interview any person on administrative justice. We can obtain relevant information from any person. We can adjudicate on matters relating to administrative justice and access to information. So those are the powers of the commission. Now, everything has a limitation. We have powers, but those powers have limitation. The limitation that we have, we cannot attend to matters pending before courts and tribunal. If, for example, today you have filed a matter in court, an employment matter, in the Employment and Labor Relations Court in Nyamira, and you bring the matter to the commission, we will not interfere. We will tell you, let the court determine that matter on merit, because it is a competent institution. Matters against private persons. You remember when beginning of what I said? Access to information, both public and private. Issues of maladministration, which is our traditional mandate, government, public, agencies. So matters against private person, those ones, if it's, for example, a debt, I'll advise you to go to the small claims court, depending on the pecuniary jurisdiction of the matter that you're bringing to my attention. Proceedings or decisions of a cabinet. Those ones we don't interfere. Grant of honors or awards by president. If the president wakes up, you have seen those awards of HSC, EBS, you have seen them. The Moran of Burning Spear. If today the president wakes up and decides to give Aizo Moran of Burning Spear for his long service to the citizens of this country, will you say, no, you know, Aizo, he was just my colleague here the other day, why has he been given that? I'm running to the ombudsman. That, when you come to our office, I will tell you that our limitations under Section 30 of the Commission on Administrative Act does not allow me to entertain that matter. Matters relating to international relations. These ones are handled by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. Matters for which there is a right for appeal or other legal remedies, and matters under lawful investigations by any other body. Those are matters that the limitations of our mandate. We also have limitations under ATI. My colleague will go through them tomorrow during tomorrow's presentation. One, if, for example, I want to access information about purchase of military equipment to fight Al-Shabaab at the border of Border X, will I be given that information? I want to know which machines are we going to be using to fight terrorists. Will I be given that information? Why? Because it will undermine national security. So when you look at Section 6 of the Access to Information Act 2016, it lists those limitations under ATI. For the sake of time, I will just pass through them because my colleague will go through it in depth tomorrow. So matters that impede the due process of the law. If you are seeking information that will impede the due process of the law, will you be given that information? So those are some of the limitations and access to information. You will allow me to go to the next slide because tomorrow we'll be taken through the limitation in depth. Who are we accountable to? Kisii University is accountable to the Office of the Ombudsman. Who are we accountable to? Do we operate in vacuum? There is checks in and balances. We are accountable to our employers. Who are our employers? The public. We are accountable to the public. We are accountable to Parliament. We report biannually to Parliament. We are accountable to the President. We are accountable to judicial oversight. We are accountable to other constitutional commissions and independent offices. So that is a summary of what we have gone through the slides. We are a constitutional body established under Article 59(4). We have twin mandate. Who can remember? Question and answer. Our mandate, two twin mandate. Who can tell me? Promotion of administrative justice and of good student. Class. Iko sawa kabisa. Enforcement of access to information. The commission has powers of the court, which the powers of the court. The commission has powers of the court. Which powers do we have? I said, you right. The commission has powers of the court, which include issuance of summons. Another one? Interrogation, correct. Another one? Production of documents. Another one? Yes, correct. Another one? Interview the person. We administer oath, and a witness also gives evidence on oath. Correct. So the commission has powers of the court of law, which includes issuance of summons, compel production of documents, taking statements under oath, interview of persons, such as seizures, and also adjudication. The commission is accountable to this side. The commission is accountable to the public, correct? Parliament, president. Another one? Other constitutional commission and independent office. Another one? Judicial oversight, correct. Channels of lodging complaints, I said them. Who can remember the channels? How do you complain to the office of the ombudsman? Post office, correct. Telephone, toll free, correct. Walk-in, correct. Correct. Emails. We have a website. For sure, social media. We have a Facebook page. We have also Twitter, X. You can complain there, and you can also complain through our complaint management and integration system. Our CMIS has a public portal where you can complain. I want to end with a quote. There's a quote there. Public service must be more than doing a job efficiently and honestly. It must be a complete dedication to the people and to the nation. Are we public officers? The people we are here in this room today. So public service must be more than doing the job efficiently and honestly. It must be a complete dedication to the people and to the nation. And that is the end of my presentation. Thank you. Yes, question. Yes. 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 Mm-hmm. Now that, for example, and I'm not saying we do that, we are very efficient. If you walk into Kisumu Regional Office, for example, and that happens to you, you escalate. You write to our chairperson. You write to, because you see, it's like today, if a dean of students does that, there is the V, there is the VC. Yes. Yes. We have said we have oversight. Who oversighted the office of the ombudsman? The president? Parliament? There is the court. You can take us to? Can we be sued? Why? Because I told you, we can be sued as ombudsman. We can also be sued in private capacity. Does that make it clear? That ombudsman can be sued? Yes. No, I'm saying, yes. Yes. When you bring a complaint to the office of the ombudsman, we document. For us, it's not usually oral. We take it down. So there's usually documentation. Our processes includes documenting everyone who walks into our office. So you'll have records of, I went to the office of the ombudsman in 2025, 7th September. And up to date, I have been handled by the office of the ombudsman. So if our escalation to the chairperson cannot assist you, and you feel that as a taxpayer, you need accountability, you can take, he who alleges must prove? You have documentation of inaction by the office of the ombudsman. What stops you from getting a legal remedy in a court of law? Nothing. Is that okay? Yes. 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 Mm-hmm. If you've been unfairly terminated by Kisii University, where do you go? Do you rush to court? Do you go to the office of the ombudsman? One, my advice, first, exhaust the internal remedies. If, for example, a decision has been reached to terminate me, there is right to appeal. If you are sure you have exhausted those internal remedies and you have not received fair hearing, there are administrative issues, you come to the office of the ombudsman. But now, on the question of whether your termination was unlawful, that is a question on merit that is supposed to be prosecuted at the Employment and Labor Relations Court. Remember, ombudsman will deal with administrative issue. Was the process fair? Were you given a fair hearing? Were you given time to respond? What does the Employment Act say? Are there administrative issues on the procedure? But when it comes to the decision of the legality or the illegality of the decision to terminate, it is squarely on the Employment and Labor Relations Court. That is okay? Yes? Yes.
Has got the Office of the Attorney General, has got the Office of the Director of Public Prosecution. Therefore, if you are answerable to the Office of the President, I feel like your office should be an independent office under the Attorney General's office, so that now you actually have a teeth to bite. And I'm saying this because of the fact that we remember the issues of SGR. There were so many questions that were raised that where was the deal? The Eurobond. There were questions that were there about information. Those were never produced. So it means that that office did not have the teeth because it's still answerable to the president. Whereas if it's an independent office like the what's called the accountant, the one that does the audit, you are only answerable to the people of Kenya through parliament, meaning that every complaint you are able to produce it at parliament level, and also you also have a teeth to bite as opposed to the way it is set up now. So what are the merits of having those offices that you are talking about?
Okay. That one I'll invite my senior to guide us through it.
I didn't get your question. Political interference, if you're reporting to the president. At the same time, Parliament. I think perhaps we need to look at it from a broader perspective, so that if we are accountable to more offices, yes, it builds trust. If you're not accountable, then it appears as if there is no transparency and you cannot build trust with your, what are they called? With your community, so to speak, and stakeholders. The office as established is independent. It is just that the structure allows for checks and balances. One of those checks and balances is the presidency. Because in any event, it is the president who even appoints now the commissioners. The same way we speak of separation of powers for the three arms, legislature, government, and yes. The same way is the same way the independent offices operate, because it is a matter of a constitutional dispensation. That is the structure of Article 59 of the Constitution. It is not only for CAJ, but even for other commissions. Yes.
Okay, as a client, if I have to come to the office of the ombudsman, should I pay something for me to receive services from the office of the ombudsman?
Our services are absolutely free of charge. You can come as many, 8 to 5, Monday to Friday.
8 to 1, and then 2.
Oh yeah, we have a lunch hour break to recharge.
Yes. I was saying mine is on the way we serve.
Yes.
There's a very thin line between request for a service and a complaint. Yes. So you find that, let me give an example of what we do. A student comes seeking the password to be reset. They come complaining. Not that the password has been reset, but hii system yenu imekataa ni login. So we find that those are reported. So you ask yourself, I didn't receive this request. Now it is coming to me as a complaint that I have not served this person.
But the student did not come to you.
They didn't come. So, and that may happen even the cases you receive. A public person, because of believing what other people have said, they say Kisii University, hata ukienda huku huwezi serviwa vizuri. So, do you start investigation in such general complaints that are not yet, they cannot be actioned, that I have gone there, this has happened, I have waited, like you said, 3 months later, nothing has happened, but this person has never come, but because they feel if they come, they're going to be served well. So they start complaining before coming for service. Thank you.
But when that complaint comes to your desk, you resolve it.
Yes, we'll solve.
So either way, you have resolved it.
We'll solve it, yes.
Yes, but it was recorded as a complaint.
Yes.
So the issue is, instead of first seeking service, they come as a complaint.
Yes.
Okay, we have an afternoon session that we will be dealing with that, with customer. The afternoon session, someone can read for me from the program. Isaac? Just wait. The customer?
In pursuit of customer service
In
excellence.
pursuit of customer service, where we will now deal with complaints, we will deal with those matters. So I will request all of us to be in attendance because it's going to be a very interesting segment.
Allow me to interject. We seem to have very many questions, which is a wonderful thing. But it appears we are running out of time. Can I suggest that we write some of these questions, yes, so that at the end of the session, we can have a question and answer? Does that make sense? Yes, because we are reacting very well, and it is important to answer each and every one of us.
Is that fine?
No, I've given you an opportunity.
Maybe I will not interject as such,
Yes.
but the question is properly captured where the presentation is made.
Okay.
So that we don't lose the thought that
Okay.
we were following when the presentation was made. So maybe at the end of every session,
Yes.
we have questions for that session.
Yes.
So that we can deal with them properly.
Yes.
And then at the end of it, we
Yes.
can have general questions
Yes.
that are not covered within.
I'm well guided. We are democratic, so I'm well guided. We proceed. It's here.
Commission on
Administrative
Administrative
Justice.
Justice. For example,
Yes.
you don't handle the legal aspect.
Yes.
You only handle the administrative aspect. So what are some of the remedies I'll get from it? For instance, he asked, I have been terminated from employment. Then I come to you and I don't go to court. what is the benefit? Why don't I just go to court, which has powers to order reinstatement or compensation?
Yes.
Why do I waste time coming to administrative to check the processes? I have not been paid, I have come to you to make a complaint. To what benefit will it add to me? Why don't I just go to court?
Sina, you want to answer that?
Feel free to go to court. No one stops you from going to court. Ombudsman has been established. Omosh. Did I hear it is Omosh? It is Omosh. So you speak, then you allow me to answer. The office of the Ombudsman, my colleague said something about hata mnyonge ana haki. Uko kwetu tunasema hata mnyonge ana haki. Okay? We don't charge. We are established by the Constitution to carry out a fundamental mandate. All right? To cure maladministration, failures in administration. That is what we are trying to handle. We may be your first port of call. We don't charge you. We don't force you to come to us. What we are trying, the gospel we are spreading, is that there exists. When my colleague began, she said, and I think Lillian should sit down, because she's really eaten into my time, so I need to cruise into my session. When Lillian, just a minute, Doc, when Lillian started, Lillian gave you a history of the genesis of the office of the Ombudsman. And she told you about the Ndegwa Commission, correct? You remember? And she said that when that commission was going round, Kenyans had very many grievances against public offices, all right? And even right now where you sit, you can mirror back to even the period before 2010. Kotisi zilikuwa zinaachwa kwa kiti. Na mtu ameenda. Alienda 2 months ago, correct? All right? Are you taking that person to court, or you're complaining to the Ombudsman first? Now that your cries over the years from 1979, Ndegwa Commission, have been heard, and now an office has been established for purposes of receiving complaints from the public against public institutions. We are your first port of call because you asked for the establishment of this office. This office does not charge you. This office does not stop you from going to any other avenue that is available to you. But remember, Lillian has spoken about limitations. For example, you have gone to court. You come back to me, I will not touch your matter because it is something that is active in court. The choice is yours. We can't force you to come to us. If you want to come to us, what we are saying is we are here, we are available, and we are ready and willing to serve. All right? Daktari has something to say.
Oh, just 1 minute. And also, just to add on what my senior said, you are mwananchi wa kawaida. Sisi tunasema hata mnyonge ana haki. Kabla mnyonge ajue, this is a matter that goes to court. You'll have to go to our wakili to peruse those documents. Is it free? But when you come to me, I'm going to peruse the document free of charge and now tell you that now these are the administrative issues, let us pursue them. And then if it's a matter that really needs for you to escalate to a court of law, I'll advise you to go to a court of law. But you will not be charged for the legal advice that I've given you at the initial stage. It is free of charge. And also, we have many success stories that I could not project today. There are so many success stories. We have reinstated people back to payroll. We have reinstated people back to the institutions. We have many success stories of pensions, that people who have followed pension for the last 15 years have been paid because of intervention of the office of the Ombudsman. All that is not I could not project today because there are so many, thousands. But when you come to our office, you will appreciate the diligence and the efficiency of the officers who work in that office. Thank you.
And you know you don't go to any office. You just go to CAJ and then you wait. So you don't have to go to court. You don't have to come to Kisii University. Once they go to them, they never show up here. It is them with us, problem solved. So it's something you can do even as. We can just go to Ombudsman and just keep quiet and wait for problems to be solved. Because once they go there, now they don't go to the place where they have problems with. Let us put our hands together and appreciate this beautiful girl. Kuna watu wajapiga makofi, hiyo ilikuwa rehearsal. A serious one, You can warm your hands. Warm your hands. Alafu tumpatie nini? Huyu ni Gen Z. Nyayo. Huyu ni Gen Z. Ana boda. Ametoka kidogo. Tumpatie Nyayo in the interest of time. 1, 2, 3. Funga. Fungua. Hata hajui. Asante. Yes, the floor is yours.
Kila mtu angalie kopo lake. Kila mtu angalie kopo lake. Check your watch. What is the time? 12:41. Yes? That one. Usinijaribu, mimi najua Kiswahili. Don't try me. I know Swahili. Byron, the video, please. The reason I'm asking us to look at our wristwatches or our time mechanisms is because of the time we are starting, and we may need to adjust slightly and eat into your lunchtime kidogo so that I'm able to effectively communicate the presentation that I have. All in agreement say aye. The ayes have it. See any democracy? Byron uko hapo?
6 hours later.
Unataka aje?
Nataka kuapply passport.
Haya basi apply.
Hebu shika hiki kombe kaniosha huko kwa mfereji.
Haya enda ngoja hapo nje. Ingia. Na unafanya nini passport?
Hii nchi imekuchosha.
Hata uko na pesa ya ndege.
Document.
Wapi title deed? Nene!
Ndio toleka photocopy.
Title deed kule itakuwa kweli?
Hapana. Wewe upige picha.
Na kichwa. Kichwa ita vizuri. Tena ayarudisha ndio vizuri na ukiweka tena. Good. Na unafanya nini hapa?
Passport.
Si hapa ni kwa chini. Nenda kwa chini.
Byron, we are going to good complaints. Good complaints. Not this one, the next one. There are 2 on your WhatsApp, so there's that one and then the second one. Because of time, I'm not able to do both slides. Now, yes, this one. The reason I have projected Crazy Kena, he's one of my favorite therapists. I get therapy from his comedy. I laugh and I'm better. The reason I've projected it is because I wanted you to pick something that relates to what we are about to talk about. We want to talk about complaints, okay? Lillian has delved into the entire skit. All those issues that have arisen out of that skit, Lillian has dealt with them. Who then is Kena? In relation to our engagement now. He's the aggrieved party. Kena is now our complainant. Kena is aggrieved that he went looking for a passport. It appears that it took a while. He was mishandled. He was misinformed. Ultimately, he didn't get the passport. When he walked in there, he wanted a passport. Sindio, you're asked sometimes to look at things from the point of what is your end goal. So his end goal in that engagement was to secure a passport, which he did not manage to. Lillian, where is that mover? Which he didn't manage to get. Which he didn't manage to get. So now, question. Do we understand what a complaint is? Can I just project my voice or you need me with the loudspeaker? I have a good voice. Eh? Yes. Sorry. Okay. Now, when we come here, what then is a complaint, or who then is a complainant? A person who did not get a satisfactory
service.
Someone who did not get service, isn't it?
Satisfactory.
Satisfactory. You may get service that is not satisfactory. So you must get a service that is actually satisfactory. Sindio? Now we want to look at complaints and give just a guide of how we do this within the public sector space. All right? We may handle things differently in a private sector, for example. So we agree that in this sitting, we all work for public service. Remember when I introduced myself, I said I serve. Okay? I serve, and the day when I don't want to serve, I up and leave. Sindio? I don't want to frustrate Wanjiko in my office, because that is the reason I am in that office. So in all your spaces, you're there to serve. And handling complaints is one of those things that will come to you one way or the other. Upende usipende. Sawa sawa. What then are the benefits of well-handled complaints? If you handle a complaint well, what are the benefits?
You enhance the trust.
You enhance trust. What else? Sorry, it will not recur. What else? It gives you trends. Sindio, you're able to know that our most prominent complaints, for example, are incomplete transcripts, isn't it? Then we get to the root cause of why we have incomplete transcripts. Or we get to know that our greatest problem around here is, which other one? Non-payment or delay in payment of part-time lecturers, for example. Yes? Then we ask ourselves, how did we get there? On the other hand, when you handle complaints negatively, what does it say? One, it gives your institution a negative image. Yes? It gives you a negative image. Sindio? Does it build relationships? Does it build trust? So you lose trust and you lose relationships. These are not easy to build, correct? Are they easy to build? Perception of the members of the public eroded. Somebody says, uko hata ukienda sahi hata hakuna mtu atakusaidia, si ndio? Or if you did it well, somebody says, but there's a Mr. So and so in that office. If you go, atakusaidia. Weketi tu mngoje, atakusaidia. So what you portray out there is very important. Hii kitu sijashika vile tunaenda. Sijashika vile kunaenda. Mulisema ni cousin. So we've seen positive effects and we are seeing negative effects. Sawa sawa. Now, when somebody is complaining, what is it? I asked, what is a complaint? I was told it is dissatisfaction, isn't it? Somebody is not pleased with the service that they have received. Sindio? Now, what do we need to have to alleviate the negative sense? We should establish a system, correct? Do we have a system at Kisii University? We do. And we are aware of it. We were part of building the system. We are continuously trained on this system. Do we have frontline officers here? Do you know who a frontline officer is? Yes? I know Gumbaru ni ngumu, but situnajaribu tu. We have them here. Are we able to resolve complaints at the first contact desk? Some. When we are not able to, you escalate. So there's something called the 3-tier approach. The first tier is usually the front office. Second tier, first tier, sometimes you're able to resolve your complaints at that point, okay? If you're unable to resolve them, then you escalate to second tier. Second tier, you have senior officers, all right? They review and see if they're also able to resolve. If they're not able to resolve, some extend to third tier, where it is now internally reviewed again, but at a higher level, okay? If that fails, then the onus is on us to advise the complainant to engage external parties. And external parties, one of the external parties is CAJ. The other external party is you're at liberty to go to court. Thirdly, you are at liberty to undertake what is known as alternative dispute resolution. Are we together? Now, enabling complaints. How do you enable complaints? What are some of the principles under the complaint handling system? How do you enable complaints? One, you demonstrate a commitment to the process. You don't start something and not finish it. You don't start addressing an incomplete marks complaint in, say, 2022, and we are now in 2026, and you do not resolve it. As a management, you don't initiate the process of complaints handling within the institution, and you don't channel funds towards empowering that agenda. Channeling funds, for example, by training those officers, for example, by availing the systems that they need to use. For example, at CAJ, we have something known as the Complaints Management Information System, okay? It's CMIS. CMIS, it's a technological tool. Now, if there are no funds that the institution sets aside for such a system, then that will not be possible. That is also, or can be deduced to be, lack of commitment on the part of the institution that needs you to have that particular system in place. You must be visible. There must be visibility and transparency, okay? We must know that there is a system in place. When we walked in, we saw QR codes, okay? Then we understand that it appears there are systems in place. We didn't test to see whether the QR codes go through, but at least we saw something that has been displayed prominently for access by others. Transparency in complaints handling, okay? How are we handling complaints? Are we transparent? Do people know that when they come to us about this complaint, it is a process of A, B, C, D? Or is it A, B, C, D today, tomorrow it will be X, Y, Z? There's just, shiftiness in the entire engagement. Those who complain, when the DVC spoke in the morning, we were in the afternoon, and he said something about, my notebook, he said something about, going, presenting as yourself, umenda kuchomea mutu, nini. It also goes back to the organization culture. Okay? How are we? Tunaishi aje na wengine? Okay? If I bring my complaint, if I wake up today and say, there's one I've already had, that someone has stagnated. Sindio? No. Thank you. No, it's an open conversation, no reprimanding. Now, if that is the complaint that is coming through, is there a fear that I will be reprimanded for coming up to say that I have stagnated? You understand? Huh? So we shouldn't have such things. I should not have fear that if I raise my issue, nitapelekwa transfer mbali. Unaona kama ile ya polisi. Just a minute, ndio nimeenda kwa ya polisi. Ndio nimeenda kwa polisi. So there's a case, a police officer says, you know, these guys threw me out of work. Tumefanya kesi, tumemaliza. I have now been reinstated, okay? I was taken through a disciplinary process. They have reviewed, I utilized the appeal mechanism, they have reviewed, I'm back to work. But I have come back to work and nobody assigns me duty. Alafu ya polisi sio kama yenyu. Yenyu unajua unaweza andika barua, uangushe pale kwa DVC, si ndio? Ama uangushe pale kwa VC, si ndio? Na itakuwa imefika. Ya polisi, you write through your supervisor, your boss. So you write, you say Atieno through Lillian. Lillian says, haiendi mahali. Hata chukui. Anaangalia alafu atakwambia, hiyo nini, enda tu. In the meantime, the guy says, I've been reinstated to work, but hakuna mtu ananipatia kazi. So for the last like 1 year, hiyo pia hakuna. Hiyo pia hakuna. And when he wants to complain about it, he has no way of complaining within the internal systems. Sawa sawa. Now, about negative feedback, we don't like them, but they give us guidance. They give us an inkling into what is happening within our institutions. And it gives us an opportunity to correct ourselves and to make and strengthen the systems. Remember, you're here today, tomorrow you will not be here. For example, someone has retired and a process vitu zake between HR and finance. Sindio? Mwenye amekaa HR amekukalia kando, mwenye amekaa finance amekukalia kando. If these things are not corrected now, si huyo HR pia ataretire. Huyo finance officer pia ataretire. Then skuli atarudi because of the organization culture. Pia anapewa mosho moja vile alipeana mosho. Sindio? Na tunaendelea. So now, one of the greatest platforms in terms of complaints handling is the establishment of a complaint handling policy within the institution. You must have something that is entrenched into the institution, something that demonstrates that there is the buy-in of the management of the institution. Because if it does not exist, then you do not have a framework for complaints for you to use. You will be winging it. Leo ukikuja unasema hivi, kesho ukikuja unafanya hivi. If there is a decision to be taken today, you'll take decision A. Tomorrow you'll take decision Z. Hata mwenyewe decision imekuwa taken against them, anajiuliza, ile ilikuwa A, they're the same things in Z, imekuwa aje? You understand? Ama tunataka kwenda safari, mmoja anakubaliwa juu kuna per diem, but mwingine anakataliwa. So your foundation is always a policy framework within the institution. That also demonstrates that there is a buy-in from the institution itself. As it is right now, si VC anajua mko hapa? Yes? So it means that there is buy-in of the institution in this particular process. The institution is interested, okay, in matters, complaints, handling, isn't it? Okay. How, for example, how and where do you make your complaints? I said at CAJ, for example, we have the CMIS platform. Sindio? Huku kwenyu mko na nini? Email, suggestion boxes. What else? Social media. You mentioned them with Lillian Sai. Yes? Complaints? Books, registers. There's even walk-ins. Okay. So who can complain? Anyone. Sindio? Ama you're restricting complainants. At CAJ, anyone can complain. Dillian said you can even complain on behalf of somebody else. my mother can come and complain on my behalf. My mother can come and complain if I was a student here on my behalf. Is that possible? Yes? Okay. So what do you consider? Tuko kwa gani? Kombali? They're not numbered. What then do you consider when you're coming up with this complaint handling framework? You're looking for the financial provisions. Lillian, I'm not here. You're looking as to whether you have adequate finances. You're looking at whether the legal framework aligns to what you're attempting to put in place. You are looking at your stakeholders, okay? Because you must align yourself also while you're conscious of who your stakeholders are. You're looking at the trends that you receive in complaints. And your legal framework, financial, your complainants. Financial means you're looking at your trends, for example. You're seeing that we have a great flow from the ICT platforms, which would be social media, say CMIS for us. So we need to set aside X amount of money. Who are you interacting with as members of the public? The number of complaints that you're receiving. If you're receiving 10 complaints in a year, that is very minimal. If your platforms are visited, you have visitations on social media, for example, of say 10,000 a day, you look at your policy a little differently, isn't it? Any institution is looked at in terms of its organization culture. What is the organization culture at Kisii University? Is it receptive, for example, to complaints? Or is it that if I were coming with a complaint, nikionekana huko kwa gate, mnasikia fulani anakuja, then people disappear? Is it that if I complain in 2016, no one will handle my complaint even in 2026? It's a matter that is yet to be addressed. So at all times, we must have a positive culture. Your stakeholders need to know that they can come in, they will be well received, and there is intention to resolve the complaint. DVC said we need to dialogue first internally. If we dialogue internally, then it means we are reducing the number of external complaints. Remember the tires we've just spoken about? So that if we converse internally, it means no one will even go to the frontline office to complain. Yes? Because it means you have picked your issues, for example. You did your root cause analysis, for example, and you've been able to determine the reason for incomplete transcripts. It may not be one reason. It could be multiple reasons, okay? And you have addressed those questions. Now, as leaders, how do we set the right tone for a receptive culture? What is it that we can do about it? Will I bring my niece, who is clueless, to be able to undertake this? So there can't be bias. We expect someone who is knowledgeable. Knowledgeable because the institution has set aside funds to train you. You know, even today, some funds have been set aside. Sindio? Si tumekunywa chai. Saizi tunakunywa maji. Then we want to go eat lunch. There's some intentionality in the entire process. Sawa sawa. So you need to look at, do we need specialized officers, for example, to undertake this? Are we empowering these officers to be able to undertake this exercise, or what is it that we are doing? So as leaders, number one, what are we doing? We are publicizing how to complain. There's the QR code pale nje. In all our platforms and in all our publications, do we also include the aspect of complaints, for example? Are we trying to communicate through multiple streams how complaints can be handled? First, that we appreciate complaints. We appreciate feedback. Sindio? Sometimes you're telling me that, I came to the office, I found a lady who was in a very bad mood. Sindio? You're telling me you were mishandled by a lady in a certain office. Sindio? Right? So as a leader in the institution, having that feedback, what do you do about it? Do you try to get to the root cause as to why that particular employee is in a very foul mood consistently? We are allowed every once in a while tuko kwa mkutano na sisi wenyewe, so what we portray to the public may be a little different. But if it is an everyday occurrence, as a leader, won't you want to sit down with this particular officer to get to the root cause? Anakwambia mimi sijalipwa, mimi hapa kwenye mimi ni casual. But mimi ndio nafanya nini hizi kazi? Sijalipwa miezi ngapi? 6. Nimetoka nyumbani, watoto wangu hawaja kula, si ndio? Si ndio? Nimetoka nyumbani, watoto wangu hawajakula. Ama mimi vile unaniona hapa niko na mtoto wa grade 10 na shule yenye ameitwa sijiwezi. I cannot get my child. So you have to be able to get to the bottom of that. So publicizing, it's just self-explanatory. So you have your complaints officers, you're telling people your working hours. Lillian told you about our working hours. We are available from 8 to 5 with a lunch break in between. You also tell people, as opposed to telling people, remember the first skit Lillian played, where that gentleman was told to come on. No, he was to come on Tuesday first, then Tuesday was a Gen Z holiday, isn't it? Then now, maybe, try us on, it's a big maybe. Remember the days when someone would come to the office, the joke runs that public officers would come to the office on Tuesday, okay? Monday, they're traveling from home, okay? So they come on Tuesday. In the meantime, koti ni ile moja iko pale, si ndio? Anyone who feels like they need to rest their eyes, just take a short walk and then come back. Now, where was I? So you travel on Monday, you get to the office on Tuesday, you work briefly on, in fact, Tuesday you're still trying to settle, okay? So you work briefly on Wednesday, yes? Then Thursday, you're gone. So when will your clientele know that you always work very briefly on Thursday? And do you want to tell them? Because if you tell them and then VCP akijua nivo kunaenda si shida zinakuwa mingi. This particular system must be free and accessible. Is your system free and accessible? The QR code, for example, it will need me to have data, sindio? Saa zingine niko na kadudu, mulika mwizi. I'm not able to access using a QR code. If I come to your office, will I at any point be told, Madam, that is 1,000? Nikutumie wekelea topo kwa meza. Yes? And then go away. I will call you when I have resolved your matter. Is that a free system? Is it accessible? Are we interrogating ourselves vis-a-vis what we have in place? So it must be something that is accessible. If it is a suggestion box, for example, is it accessible? Where is it kept? Ama imewekwa pale kwa VC? And some of us don't ordinarily go to that particular block, isn't it? Is it accessible in every other building in the institution? Okay? We must ensure that this system is not one that is punitive. Should not be detrimental. It borders now on matters literally whistleblowing. Yes? Because you are raising something and it's now bordering on whistleblowing. And whistleblowing is a very risky business in Kenya right now. Remember, we don't have the legislative framework. There's a bill that is just hanging somewhere. So as a person, you do not have 100% guarantee that there is adequate protections. But as we resolve complaints within the institution, will I be punished for saying that apa watulipi, what is it called, part-timers? Ama apa for your certificate to come, you must pay me, sindio? Or for me to resolve your complaint, for me to take time to review your documentation, you must pay me something. So you must demonstrate at all times that there is no repercussion. Sawa, nisitoke hapo kidogo kidogo. Ile ya polisi, did I finish? Then that gentleman tells me, madam, you know, once we are done with this thing, Mimi, I am psychologically ready to be taken to Northeastern. Nanipata? Because there is punishment attached to his complaining. Why are you complaining and we have not enabled you to complain? Why did you go to an outsider to embarrass us? So fine, we will reinstate you, but sasa kazi iko wapi? Turukana. Ama kazi iko Northeastern. Are we together up until that point? Now, we must always be responsive to complaints. You respond to complaints within a specified time frame. At CAJ, we are working with 28 days. You must acknowledge. If I send a complaint and you sit on it very quietly, how will I know that you have even received the complaint, okay? By you acknowledging my complaint. Sindio, your frontline officers, having empowered them, you encourage them to try and resolve what they can at that particular instance. If it is not possible, then remember the tiers we've spoken about and escalation. Sawa sawa. You're escalating because you're not able to address at this point. I am sending it to my boss. If my boss is not able to resolve, my boss will also send it to, say for example, internal review. As an institution, when we have exhausted all these, and this is internal mechanisms, isn't it? Then we release it for external interventions. Sawa sawa. Are we together up until that point? And addressing complaints in a timely manner, promptly. We have spoken about timelines at CAJ. For us, it is 28 days. That is the ideal situation. Sometimes it goes over and beyond the 28 days. But the most important thing is that I am working on it in a prompt manner. If I receive a complaint today, I need, for example, to acknowledge receipt within 7 days. I am being prompt and I'm being efficient. Now, these delays that we look at in terms of addressing complaints when we are not prompt, by the time I come back to resolve an issue of, say, 2016, 2017, I want to resolve it in 2026. Remember, I didn't tell the complainant I have acknowledged. I didn't tell him I'm working on it. Some may be overtaken by events by the time you want to wake up to work on it. Sawa. So it is important to work on those complaints and address them in a prompt manner. There's the element of privacy. When I bring a complaint to you, I don't expect that on my way home this evening, wale mama wa mboga ndio wako na story yangu, si ndio? Yes? I come, I tell my boss, you know, my husband, hata sijamuona sijui miezi kadhaa, si ndio? Sijamuona nyumbani. So hatuna chakula, tunaumia kwa nyumba, si ndio? Mwone vile tunaweza zungumza na yeye, akuwa kitutumia kitu. Mimi sina nia mbaya, nataka tu at least atusort. So nikitoka tu hapo, umeitana, did you hear? Ule jamaa Masuti, ni Masuti tu hapa. Lakini nyumbani, mama amekuja hapa. Kwanza ni number 4. Wale wengine bado ni kama wajakuja. Ule ndio number 4, alafu kuna ule wa 5 mwenye huwa tunajua. Sasa unajua huyu tulikuwa tumjui. On your way home, you're catching your udaku as you go. Will you be happy? Will you be happy? So for every information that we receive under the premises of complaints handling, the element of privacy, confidentiality must be upheld. When you go to your doctor, for example, and you discuss the issues that are troubling you, do you expect your doctor to be in the next, what is it called, function, political function, announcing, ule hata, unajua, hata 2027 afiki? Is that what you would want? So there's the element of privacy and confidentiality, and also the issues of data protection then arise. Sometimes we have something on the phone. Shwi, ume forward, sindio? Did you have the complainant's consent? for example, to forward the information that came to you as a complaint handling officer. Yeah? Did you have that consent? Are you allowed? Or is it that the action that you're taking next is that something that is in violation of the laws of Kenya? A school has been taken to the Commissioner for Data Protection the other day. A child somewhere sat for exams and did very well, and the school publicized. So the parent says, no, you didn't ask for our permission. And they've been awarded 600 and something thousand by the Data Protection Commissioner. Okay? So even you, when I bring my issues, I share my documentation within this privacy and confidentiality setup. Alafu pia unasambaza. To ask myself, the only place I share this document is at the security desk. That is the person who knows my challenges. Then shortly, naisikilia to left, right, center. What am I supposed to do? Now, when we take a decision within complaints, we must communicate that decision, okay? We must do something akin to what the courts do in terms of rulings and judgment. I must give you a breakdown of my thought process. It cannot be, say, for example, what is called in the judiciary, an air judgment. Huh? Air judgment is kesi imeisha, so ndio hii uamuzi wa koti. Koti imeamua kwamba utalipa shilingi 10 na kifungu cha siku 3, kesi yako imeisha. You ask for it somewhere in documentation, hakuna. You're dissatisfied because you're the complainant. You're not happy as to how someone arrived at 10 shillings. You want to see a reasoning. Someone says, okay, fine. This case was like this. You spent 50 shillings. I will award you, or you are injured, and the gravity of your injuries are assessed at, say, 70%. I will award you 500,000 shillings. You get a flow of reasoning in the decision that has been taken. As a result, you can also do what is called an outcome letter. An outcome letter basically reflects what your ruling or your judgment is, and you're communicating what has transpired. For example, someone asked a question here and said, sometimes they're malicious, okay? That person did not come to me, but has come to you directly. When such complaints come to us, we always allow the other party to present their side of the issue. Then we review before now we are able to give you reasons or a copy of that good outcome letter, sawa sawa, which we must communicate in clear language, no jargons. I should not be able, for example, if I'm a doctor, I write for you a scientific name that I know you will not know. Yet all I'm saying is, for example, you have iron deficiency. That is what I wanted to say. I can write it and say iron deficiency. A common Kenyan will understand. Sindio? But if I take a scientific name for that diagnosis, a common man may not understand. Now, there must be the element of finding a solution. I said something about end game. When you start in resolving a complaint, for example, what is your end goal? Is it that there must be a solution to this? Or is it that I am just going through the motions? Huh? In so doing, and again, we are human, you can always acknowledge a mistake. You can say, we apologize, we inadvertently mixed up the documentation that you shared with us, okay? And we are unable to review your complaint at this time. Kindly furnish us with fresh documentation, okay? Also, a better explanation why such a thing happened. You're reversing a decision, sindio? Or you're using other means of redress. Now, you must also look out for explaining the options that are available for review. Remember when we were speaking about the tiers, we said we start from chini. And Lillian also mentioned something about exhausting internal mechanisms. If you're aggrieved here today, do you start at the VCs or do you start at the front desk? Ideally, front desk. So I must be able to explain to you at the end of me exhausting this process that where we have reached now, perhaps you can explore third-party engagements, which include ADR, okay, which include going to the ombudsman, which include going to court when Mosh feels like he is loaded, anatafuta wakili, analipa legal fees, sindio? Na wakili anasonga na faili yake because he has made adequate provisions for it. So your commitment then demonstrates your need to change your organization culture, to move you from a negative organization culture to a positive organization culture. For example, if you do not give reasons for the decision that you have taken, people walk around with assumptions. Sindio? Sema unajua hiyo kesi imeenda hivyo juu huyo mama huwa wanaomba na yeye kanisa moja. Kama angekuwa mshirika wao, labda haingekuwa hivyo, sindio? Tunapatana? But if you come out and one, change the organization culture so that inajulikana pale ukienda itafanyika straight. Dr. Auni has worked hard so that we have systems in place that are being followed. If information does not trickle from top to bottom, tunabaki hapa tukidakua, sindio? We are drawing assumptions. We're like, sio hivyo. We're just drawing assumptions. We don't have anything meaningful to add to it. Now, as a leader, you are expected to set the tone. One of it is changing the organization culture. 2, you have to ensure that you have a policy in place. We spoke about that. 3, you have to ensure that you have officers who are skilled. There was a reference about a house manager. I can't bring my house manager to handle the frontline office. Can I? She's not equipped, she's not skilled. Sindio, things will really fall apart. Empowering officers, you must be trained and you must be able to access the requisite tools. If it says that for us to condense a complaint into writing, we need a complaint form, the institution should be able to avail those complaint forms. Sindio, if it is a CMIS platform, for example, the institution needs to avail hizo machines, needs to avail connectivity. Sindio? Hapo ni story mingi, but there are instances where you may need experts. You can bring them on board. Your officers, they must always be knowledgeable. Complaint handling is not easy. There are days when you want to take a break from your life completely because the manner of complaints that you receive. In responding to complaints, 1, some of these things are a bit repetitive. You must acknowledge receipt, because if you don't acknowledge receipt, I sit and assume that you didn't receive my complaint. I sit and assume that you received it, but you've decided, because it is me complaining, you will not resolve it. So cousins wa Gen Z na Gen Z wataonana na wewe wapi? TikTok. Kama wamekutengenezea video mzuri, because you failed to acknowledge. You must assess, you must review. Issues arose here as to whether do I go to labor, or do I go to court, or do I come to CAJ? We must assess depending on the documentation before us. There was an interesting issue being raised about I come to your office and I am mishandled. Sometimes it is not very easy to prove the undocumented matters, okay? Maybe if then you had a witness to that entire scenario, then it is easier. But a scenario that transpires like that and there are no witnesses is very difficult to address. Now, what are the factors that you will then look at when you're making your initial assessment, which is also a review? You look at the seriousness, for example, of the issues raised. That also borders on the, Lillian mentioned something about timelines. so that in normal complaints at CAJ, we handle matters within ideally 28 days. But depending on the complexity, it can go even to 6 months or even a year, for example. Sindio? Now, on matters ATI, which we will talk about tomorrow, if it is a matter of life and death, I only have 48 hours. So factor 1 is seriousness of the issues. If it is a matter of life and death, I remind myself that I only have 48 hours. The complexity of this particular issue. Urgency, we have spoken. Are there systemic issues, for example? At some point, investigations were undertaken at the Lands Office. And even, there's the Lands one, and then there is the immigration. An investigation was undertaken at the immigration department. Now, the outcome of that investigation was one, at that time we didn't have adequate printers. That time you would apply for passports, na hazitoki, and yet sometimes you have a medical emergency that you want to be attended to outside the country. But they are not able to assist you because one, root cause, hakuna printer. 2, hakuna printing, hizo booklets za passport, haziko, procurement was not complete or something. Now, one of the recommendations was purchase of printer. Yes, subsequently it was purchased. I think this was during the Honorable Florence Kajuju's term that was purchased. And then subsequently, the booklets were also availed. Same thing as even birth certificates. There were times when mothers would go and they're not issued with birth certificates because the papers are not available. Whether it involves other agencies, okay? Whether it is a matter against an officer. Lillian was asked whether if they come to our office and we mishandle them, where are they going to move to next? Sindio, you decide that I'm not being impartial. Unaona tu bias on my end, which means that will not be addressed. So we need to do away with such things if we want to strengthen our complaints mechanisms. We also need to adopt the tired approach. We spoke about it, and ideally we always speak about a 3-tier. But here we have added for an internal review. So ordinarily you start at the front line, then you move and escalate it if investigations is required, for example. Then you can internally review. Because if you told me that, say, you were assaulted somewhere within the premises, see, we have to conduct a small investigation here. Then we review internally. If it is still not resolved, then now I tell you of your rights outside the 3 parameters. Which are they? You said you can go to Ombudsman, court. You can even undertake ADR. Remember, alternative dispute approach. I have broken down I've broken down the 3 tiers, and there's a bit of notes supporting it. But ideally, front desk, everyone must be trained. Anyone handling complaints, ideally, must be trained. Resources must be set aside for such trainings. Sawa sawa. If at the front line we are unable to address it, we escalate as per the tiers we have seen. Ultimately, our goal is always to resolve. We don't start with a mind to dismiss you to third parties. Sindio, we are seeking the best way to resolve. There is explaining of your process. Students will ask you, umesema hiyo transcript haiwezi badilishwa kwa nini? Jina zangu hapo. So now you have to explain. Sindio, you first put in a formal request. I'm just assuming. You first put in a formal request. Sindio, you provide supporting documentation. You allow us 7 days, for example, as per your service charter, to be able to address these issues. Sawa sawa. You can also go as far as telling them Miss Lillian is the one who is handling your complaints. Ndio, nimekwambia hivi na hivi na hivi, ICT person is the one who will handle these complaints. So that when this person walks away, next atasema, kuna mambo yangu inashughulikiwa pale by Mr. So and so. Sindio, next time akikuja, ashinde malipa kwanza, anasema tu hapana, but I brought an issue to be addressed and I left it with Mr. So and so. And I hope the succession is in place, watu wa HR, so that Mr. So and so akitoka kwa ofisi, there's someone else to help. It can't be that if Mr. So and so drops dead today, all your complaints are gone with Mr. So and so. Is that understood? Now, at all material times, we must always ask ourselves, what is the root cause of all these complaints? What is the root cause of our challenges? Non-payment of part-time lecturers. What could be the root cause? Insufficient funds. Failure to follow procedure. There must be a procedure somewhere for you to be paid. Sindio? You finish your classes, you attach supporting documentation, you take them to finance, finance will make payments. So wewe haujapeleka supporting documentation including attendance, but unaongea ukiwa upande ule wa fence. Sindio? You're raising it from the other side of the fence. Do we understand root cause analysis? Huh? We do. Layman language, we just need to get to the bottom of the issue. And on many occasions, it is not just one root cause. There could be varied root causes. Like we have just tried to get to the bottom of it. We've raised at least a minimum of 2 causes. So we try and address. In this one, we will try to publicize more that this is the procedure for part-time lecturers to be paid. Sindio, we have picked it as a trend because remember we are keeping records. We are documenting complaints. We are taking out reports, okay? So that even management can appreciate the nature of work that is going on. So that when Dr. Auni goes and says, we need X amount for X activity, she has her reports in place, for example, and she can say, you know now, we've noticed that this is the trend and this is what we want to cure. We have undertaken a root cause analysis and our issue right now is that our frontline officers had not been trained. We have now trained them. See, we've resolved the issue. Yes? Hapo kwa root cause, tuko pamoja. There's a diagram. Yes, so you ordinarily identify your problem. You understand the problem. You understand the problem. You identify your root cause. Remember, it could be more than one. Then you take action based on the report that you have received from the root cause. Then now you monitor. Is it being effective? Is there a change? Like if apologies. You have already established your trends. You've taken immediate corrective action. You're monitoring as to whether the corrective action that you have put in place is actually effective. You have now put, zinaitwaje hizo, like those framed ones pale. You have now explained, yes, this is how we will address this particular issue. The people who are affected, have they been able to now adapt and are they happy? There's the issue of recording complaints. If I don't record complaints, it means it is a system that is not transparent and it is open to manipulation. If I come and say that I was told there's a sexual harassment policy in place. I was told that. Did I hear right? Yes. If I say I am being victimized or I'm being sexually harassed by person Z, okay? And it is not documented. ama you document kwa ile inaitwa loose leaf as opposed to a hard copy or ile kitabu, black book of sorts, ndio, folioed, so that I know on this day so and so came and they reported this particular complaint. If we don't record it, the next time someone is trying to say to you, you know me, I've been harassed tu kwa hivyo, I reported. Huyo mwenye ulikuwa unasema amekuharass pia kona information kwamba hiyo complaint haijakuwa recorded. So pia anatembea akiwa na nguvu hapo nje anasema where? There's no complaint, isn't it? Are we helping anyone? Now, records are important because out of these records, we are able to generate reports. At the Ombudsman, we do monthly reports, quarterly reports, biannual reports, annual reports. We have 4 kind of reports ordinarily. Now, out of these reports, we are able to pick trends. We are able to spot systemic issues. We are able to undertake investigations. We are able to put in place mechanisms to assist. If there are too many complaints coming from institution Z, okay, then we offer ourselves to train them on how best to handle complaints, for example. Right now, there's a bit of collaborations as institutions. So we come and teach you or help you like we are here today on how to handle complaints. Now, I've said the record is critical, whichever platform it is. Sometimes those numbers are money, and data is, at the end of the day, data is always money. It's a huge currency right now. As you record your complaints, now you're looking at your back. You're looking at your trends. You're looking at the issues. You're looking at the outcomes. You're looking at the demographics. For you, largely, it is students, and a bit of staff. Out there, perhaps, there's a time when it is women complaining on matters birth certificate. You've already picked the issue. Sometimes it is men and women complaining about delays in issuance of passports. So that when you say both men and women are complaining. For us in our complaint forms, we also identify your gender. We say it's either male or female, so that we are able to analyze the trends at the end of the day. All this is aimed at effective service delivery. When you resolve your complaints, okay, you're being effective. Now, it allows you also to assess your performance. I received 50 complaints in 2025, for example. I have resolved 40. I have remained with 10. These 10 are beyond me. Okay? Then maybe I need to escalate it to a different level. For example. Or you put it in place and you have your system and you're interrogating the functionality of the systems that you have in place. Okay? And remember, data is, in it says, hard currency. It allows you room to review your systems, whether you need to update your softwares or you need to update your machines, if those are the machines. Whether you need to update your documentation in compliance with the legal framework, that is also something that you need to consider. Whether there are changes in our demographic. There's a shift in Kenya right now. Gen Zs in 2020, that was tulikimbia lini 25 ama 24? 24. Ama tulikuwa nakimbia lini? 24. Hizo holiday mingi hizo. Si tulizikimbia 24. So now you're also conscious at the back of your mind that I have these new demographics. Ndio? Na hawataki nianze kuambia sijui 28 days, hawataki nianze kuambia sijui come tomorrow. Ni watu wa chap chap. There was a story on X the other day. A Gen Z went for a job interview. The HR was late in the entire process. They started an hour or two late. When the HR attempted to apologize, Gen Z alimwambia vile, like in those 2 hours, I would have made X amount. Is this how you normally work? And as the interview went along, Gen Z was on a different level. There's a different demographic that is different in interviews. When they were done, Gen Z asked about the expected salary, and he was told. And he asked HR, why didn't you put it together with the advert? I needed not waste my time coming in for this interview. And thank you for your time. Ndio vile alienda akamalizana na hiyo story. So in reviewing your system, you're getting feedback, positive or negative. Lillian spoke about success stories. For us, we are getting success stories. Remember, there are also, and complaints is tricky. There are days when a complainant will come and insult you. Atakutusi tu vizuri alafu aende. Okay? And there are days when you will encounter a complainant mwenye hata atakapo bado anakubembeleza ama anakudekeza. Anakuambia, I appreciate the work you do. Asante. Ama ulinisaidia, nilisaidika penye ulinituma. Si ndio? But at the back of your mind, be conscious. Kuna ule atakuja atakirusha mawe. Tumesema tunataka hizo transcript sai. What is it? Why are you telling us that it will take 28 days? You don't have a toner. You don't have a printer. What are those? Utaulizwa maswali magumu. I think my presentation is over. With those very many remarks, I wish to rest unless there are questions. Are there questions? Have we understood complaints? Yes. We start here.
My question goes to the what? This model you've given us, huh? Sorry? Yes. The diagram you've given us.
Root cause.
Yeah, for the root cause. You see, you begin by defining the problem.
Yes.
Then you understand the problem.
Yes.
I thought you should understand the problem first before you define it. I don't know.
You? Let me put it this way. A complainant will come and tell you a very long story. Okay? And that is their problem. It is up to me to sit and review and understand what the complaint is. An example, someone came to me a few weeks back and says, tunanyimwa barua na chief. The letter for succession, letter of beneficiaries. So you see, this person is presenting to me an issue against the chief. When I start reviewing and getting clarity, and remember, madam, unajua mimi hata sina shida na chief. Sina shida naye. Unajua huko kwetu babangu alikuwa na mabibi wengi. Boma ni mingi, okay? Alikufa in the 80s akiwa amegawa shamba. But because I went and built elsewhere, my siblings who remain close to home have now decided to divide this land as amongst themselves. They have left me out. If I don't define the problem, I will not be able to understand the problem. Turns out that they are fighting as amongst themselves, okay? They have not even approached the chief for that letter. In fact, the person complaining has not even spoken to the rest of the family. Yeye anaongea akiwa huku, okay? Peke yake. Wengine wako upande ule mwingine ndio wa kugawa shamba. It is possible they sat and said kitu, hakuna haja tufanye long process. Wacheni tufanye, ile ya nyumbani na tumemaliza. But since him is aggrieved from this other end, for reasons he's not about to tell you, he won't tell you why. Because even that chief will require that all of them present before him, before he writes that letter. He will not include an absentee. But it appears, haizi, penye hawa wako, huyu haizi fika. Now how do I help him? Yes? As opposed to good. That's a complaint in itself. It's a compliment. Yes, it's either positive or negative. So we also have that. We always have the negative. We have positive, which is positive feedback, but we also have negative feedback. Sindio? Someone will come and say that guy is very rude, pale. But if they want it reduced into a complaint, yes. You can come and say that you are not served well in Kisumu, but you're not interested in following it up as a complaint. Umekuja tu pale ofisini ukaguruma hapo kwa mlango and then you up and go. You get? So there's no way I will capture it as a complaint. But funny enough, when you go to my bosses, you will say you are complaining. Yes.
My question comes from your last statement. You have this complainant who has come. You may not be in a position to assist them at that time, but they are stuck with you. You have sent them to where they're supposed to be helped, but they come back again to you. Bring the frustration from the other side to you. Or sometimes they even have your phone number. They write messages, you are very strong, and you have already maybe escalated the complaint to the other side. How do you handle such complainants?
One, I am learning the hard way. Lately, I don't like giving out my personal number. So we separate issues. You call me at the office, I am available within the timelines that I'm supposed to be in the office. Because we learn the hard way. Complainant anaamka anataka kukupigia simu mpaka saa 6 ya usiku. Okay? Utaambia mwenzako kwa nyumba, huyo ni complainant. Will mwenzako understand that this is really a complainant? Na tulifikishanaje mpaka tukakubaliana you can call me when I'm home at midnight. Okay? It may be difficult to explain. Remember when we were talking about complaints, we spoke about one, reducing them into writing, two, giving them feedback. You give them feedback and reasons. You write a letter, for example. If I refer you somewhere, I will write a letter. Because complainants are also funny. Atasema kutumwa huko ama kufanywa nini. So I write a letter and say, pursuant to our discussions, this matter has now been referred to X. Sasa wewe uende wapi? X. Mimi nimenawa hapo, si ndio? Because otherwise then it stands as an open file on my part. But for as long as I have done what I can for you or what the ultimate goal is, then there's nothing else for me to do. And I can't come into that person's house, for example, and give them directions on how to proceed. But ideally, anyway, complaints has good and bad days.
I think you've done a good job. We are all in agreement. We are being educated, we are being reminded, and we are being challenged, and that is why we are here. And now we know what affects me affects the other person, because if I don't do my job, that person will be a pain in the neck of another person. Ladies and gentlemen, in the interest of our health, I believe we need to take a health break and go for our lunch. And you know, lunch is not like tea. It needs a little bit of more minutes. So I want us to appreciate Amelia for the good work done. We can try this Gen Z's Calabanda Senorita. And after that, we can break for lunch. So I want to believe that we are going to handle the customer service excellence at 2. By the way, we need this. One of the objective after this training, because we are really responsible for various services, is that we may review our service delivery charter, especially to the citizen. A good example is, when you look at it, graduates are supposed to receive their certificates within 2 weeks after graduation. It is us who set it. So we can review it to even 1 month, isn't it? Is it doable? Maybe this was made when the university was a college. Yes, but look at it this way. Maybe it was done when we were college, when we had about how many graduates going to graduate in Egerton? Maybe 200, maybe 400. Now we're talking about 4,000 graduates for verification of names, for clearance, for us to be able to even allow the highest authorities to put their signatures. If you went to see the VC this week or the DVC, you will sympathize with them. I think they're sleeping with their hands up because the certificates are all over the table and they have to sign each one of them. So 2 weeks, not doable. But somebody somewhere can come and say, yes, I want to go for interview. I graduated last year, 17th of December. How many weeks? We are in February. And they will pick on our commitment and then they use that. Then they'll come today, they'll tell them, can you come next week? Then next week, they'll come next week. Before you know it, they're already putting their complaint in the email. Like we've seen already a few emails of, you promised we are going to have our certificates as soon as you open. So where are the certificates? And so even you don't know how to start replying these emails because it is our commitment. And not only that, even if you look at an issue, like I was looking at when you deliver goods in this university, it's supposed to just take 60 days. May not be possible, may not be realistic. So maybe one of the things is to have information that when we sit down, we can be able to see in our various departments, are we able to review when time comes for reviewing? So let us just do Kalabanda Senorita. Let's go 1, 2, 3. Sorry? We are trying to see how to manage complaints. We don't want those complaints to come from them. Maybe later on in the plenary, I'll tell you why it is not good when it comes from them. Yes, we would rather handle, and they already discussed the perception, the things you can't repair. That you already create a bad blood. I was looking at one complaint who I think I saw in Esther's office, and we were just smiling and saying how we are good friends. But I was just wondering, if we were to do an advert and then he appears in the interview, already if we know him, we know, if we see the name, if you've been dealing with the name, you're like, kumbe finally you needed us. Already that's negative perception towards the client who is very innocent. He or she was just seeking their rights. So kuna perception, there are names we cannot recover. I mean, there are things we cannot. Yes, and we are going to lose also clients if we go like that and then it to ombudsman, just go. We cannot allow that. Kalabanda, tufanye kama ambao tunda kula ugali. 1, 2, 3 Kalabanda. Senorita. Tutafanya practice saa 8. Let us be on our feet and just thank God for the meal. And then the meal is down there because hakuna viti you can serve. And then feel free to come and partake your meal from here. Father Lord, we bless your name. Thank you for the morning session. We pray that whatever we've been taught and reminded and encouraged, that this helps us, oh God, that we may deliver the services in this particular institution in a way that pleases you, to the glory and honor of your name. And behold, now we are going for a health break. We pray that you sanctify the food that we're going to partake, that it add energies in our system, and we are grateful for it. Thank you for the appetite. In Jesus' name we pray and believe. I want to suggest that we come back by 2:20 latest. Is that in order? Hello? Bon appetite.
2:20. We take 20 minutes break.